Yep, looks like it's working. We're
All
good.
right.
And
You're ready, Tim?
I'm ready.
Yeah, let me.
Two.
Did we?
Wait,
I'm seeing
what?
if we tweeted out on for for Periscope, but I didn't see it. Oh,
Okay, well that's all right.
Nintendo, Japan just tweeted something.
Oh no.
Ring Fit Adventure stuff. No,
Okay, I was like, do not do this right now, you sons of bees.
That's not important.
Okay.
The test fire. Okay, and here we go. 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 329, recorded on June 3rd, 2021. On tonight's episode with special guest Sean Capri Pants, we talk about the road to E3 and how Super Nintendo Switch Pro did not get anywhere near that road. Jesse, you go ahead and do your thing.
Wow, well, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? I'm your host, Justin Masson. Man, I 329 shows and we have not used that music, and my body didn't know how to match up properly to the music, the beats. It didn't feel like my right cues to go on stage. I was confused, but ladies and gentlemen, I am here with three of the coolest guys around the internet that will help me be unconfused. And of course, speaking first of the guy behind the soundboard, pressing buttons, making us sound, I would say, decent 9 times out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jesse Waldack. Jesse, how are you, sir?
Good. I'll explain the song later in the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what's known as a tease. He's going to tease you the entire way. He's just going to let you think about that. And then you have to stay the entire 2.5 to 3 hours to find out why. It's going to pay off in the end. Turns out it's all a dream that Jesse's behind the board. But Jesse, your week as well?
Yeah. So today at work, I impressed myself. Preparing the rest of my team for my upcoming vacation. We originally thought that we'd have a release start testing, and then the week I'm out will be all in testing, so no big loss. But no, things happened, and now not only will one release, but 2 releases need to be set up while I'm on vacation. So I have to show someone what I do so they can do that. I'll show them next week so they know what they need to do the week following.
And that sounds intense. And we're glad that we never give you a vacation here. And that's why. So you don't have to show us what to do. But in case for some odd reason Jesse does take a vacation and drops dead, ladies and gentlemen, the man who will also help us out, saving us on all of our technical issues, Timothy Olf. Timothy, sir, how are you?
I keep hearing these voices from somewhere. Where are they coming from? I don't know.
What is going on, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm just joking. Doing good. I thought I was going to meet up Sean at his house and hang out with him in his basement. And I'm here, but he thought apparently he was supposed to meet up with me at my house.
I drove over to Detroit, man. It was real weird. We didn't bump into each other. We saw each other at Tim Hortons along the way, but I'm here in your basement, so you're taking care of your crazy family.
All right.
Now I know why you do this so much.
Wow. Shots fired.
I'm hiding down here.
Too personal, sorry.
Awesome. Well, of course, the voice that you're hearing there, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite Canadians, one of my absolute favorite Canadians, and there's a list of about 35 of them, but somewhere in that list, Sean's on there. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Great White North, from Edmonton, Alberta, and I won't hold that against him, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Capri, or known as Sean Connery. Capri is in Sun Drinks. I don't know. God darn it, Sean. I'm just so excited that you're here. I can't even speak, eh?
You probably practiced that a couple times today. You still buggered her up.
It's
okay.
so
We've
hot,
come a long
Sean.
way, Justin. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We've known each other for about almost going on a decade, better part of a decade.
Feels like it, yeah.
Yeah, we've touched
in
real life. It's been good.
Yeah. I miss you,
dude. I miss you too. I think we'll touch each other soon in the future. But in the meantime, we'll podcast together.
I think so.
I'm so happy
I think
to be
we
here,
need to
man.
leave or something.
I like that.
I
thinking the
had
same
children. I had children so that I could be a guest on this show. This was the reason.
And that is. So first and foremost, such an amazing commitment for you to do that. But you did read the document that wasn't a prerequisite, right? Did you not get the changes that we made to that?
I did not. Okay,
yeah.
So probably too late to go ahead and change that.
You can try and put them. You might be able to put them back.
I can put them back in.
Try and put them back.
Maybe next time I go to Tim's house, I'll bring him with me and just leave him here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like it a lot.
All right, Lincoln and Ellie, you stay here. Uncle Tim, you call him Daddy now.
see what happens. Oh, not again, Daddy. Oh, well, Sean, we're so happy that you're here.
I'm ecstatic.
We are on the road to E3, and we're talking about Drive, and we're talking about road metaphors, of course, and of course, Sean Capri, the Xbox Drive, and your newest show, the Nintendo Drive. Is that right?
The Nintendo Drive. We're taking all of the shows on the road. I've realized that the most time that I have is when I'm on the road, just driving around. So I figured, why not jump on a Skype call with my friends and record podcasts about Xbox and Nintendo? Let's do it.
That's just incredible stuff. And we're going to talk a lot more about what you guys have coming up on the Nintendo Drive. We're excited, and we're going to hear all your spicy hot takes on E3 and what Nintendo has got planned for us. Ooh. And we're excited to get there. But of course, before we jump, what's up?
Did you notice in the chat? I don't know if you have to see that Sean Capri's other, I guess podcast other half is in there for the Nintendo Drive.
Kato is here. Isn't this the podcast you were trashing on the Nintendo Drive? This one? The Nintendo Drive? No, not this one.
What?
Nintendo Dad. It was the Nintendo Moms. I was trashing the Nintendo Moms, not the Nintendo Dad.
Oh, we are pulling this car over right now and having a genuine conversation. Well, we're happy so many people are here and in our Twitch stream as well. Of course, folks, Twitch and YouTube, comment, join us, comment as we go along. We like it so much. But we got some news. I'm going to be honest with you. Some is a really loose word to do it. Jesse, let's move on to our news, shall we? And ladies and gentlemen, of course, our news is brought to us by the Maple Syrup Company of Canada, whose motto is, "We like it when you're sticky." Maple Syrup Company of Canada. I'm kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, that is not our sponsors and our support. The amazing folks over at patreon.com/NintendoDad support us every single month to keep this dumpster fire rolling. I greatly appreciate it. Folks, we got a new patron, and Tim, we're going to play a game with you. I'm going to give you 4 names. I'm going to ask you which one of them do you think is the new patron who has subscribed to us that you then need to give a very personal, real thank you shout out to. All right, are you ready? Give you 4 names. You have to choose what the correct one is.
Oh, come on.
Is it Brian, Matthew, Morgan, or Joe?
All of the above. Oh, wait, you said there was one.
There was one. Did you say Joe? That's amazing, Tim.
Joe,
you're 100%
yes. Hey, you didn't give me a chance.
Really thinking about that. You were really considering that. He was calculating.
Wow, Tim. And Tim, now you can give Joe a personal thank you from you.
Thank you, Joe, for contributing and paying for the whole year, in fact. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're all set for the next 12 months and listening to all the fun we have here in our rolling dumpster.
Now you guys got to do this for another year.
So I like how the fact is like you were cheating on the back end, getting over the Patreon account as quick as you could.
No, I'm not looking at Patreon whatsoever. I didn't know that. I just guessed that he paid for the whole year. Was I right? I must have been right. I'm kidding.
Nonetheless, I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. Of course, thank you to all of our amazing patrons that support us every single month. Whoo, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I feel excited. Like I feel a tingle. I feel like we're days away. And this week, Nintendo dropped finally some critical piece of information that I don't know why they waited this long to tell us.
And the most hero, Supergirl.
To be fair, in my E3 schedule, about 85% of it is TBA. So they're not the last person. They're still one of the first people to actually tell us when things are happening.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, Nintendo finally told us of their E3 dates. And Jesse, can you kind of remind us what those dates are and what those times are?
Yeah, E3 dates will start Saturday the 12th through Tuesday the 15th. And I've got a schedule. I don't know if we'll detail it here or just share it online later. But Nintendo's part will be their normal E3 time slot of Tuesday morning at noon Eastern. They've got a 40-minute direct planned, and that will be then followed up by Sean's waving at someone.
It's on my drive.
It'll be followed up by a 3-hour Treehouse Live.
Yeah. So not a huge shock. I think this was the speculation we all had. Nintendo typically closes out E3, right? If this was a normal E3, the doors would open on Tuesday afternoon. The halls would flood. I apologize. With individuals of excitement playing video games. Nintendo is typically that kind of the final kind of wall to fall. But Nintendo put out a very interesting tweet, and it's very important because this tweet says a lot of information that I think we need to actually parcel out. And you're like, maybe Justin, you're overthinking it. No, I actually think we need to talk about it. So this is the tweet, and this is going back to what Jesse started off with. Nintendo at E3, June 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, not a problem. Tune in for a Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of information focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software. Very important words. Focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software. So, Sean, what does this mean then, really?
It means that we're going to be seeing games on Nintendo Switch, Justin Masson. That's exactly what it means.
That's some hard-hitting stuff. I can't believe why
we're done here. We did it.
Right, we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your subscription. Take care.
We finished. Well, my co-host on the Nintendo Drive is in the chat here. Doesn't believe that the Nintendo Switch Pro is real at all. She's keeping her expectations well in check while I'm off in La La Land. I think it's real. Yeah. I think it's going to be announced in 45 seconds from now, probably while we're live on the show. I can't tell, to be honest with you, in all seriousness, I can't tell if this is a total troll, which Nintendo is absolutely known to do, in which they're telling us to look forward to just software, and then 2 days later, that's when they do the hardware announcement that the Switch Pro actually is real. Or we get nothing, man. Who the heck even knows? I mean, there's a lot to unpack here.
So the interesting thing, I think that this is actually with a statement of exclusively on Nintendo Switch software.
Why would they have to say? Are they directly addressing the rumors that are going around? Are they we like to think Nintendo is not in touch with what the cool kids are saying on the interwebs?
Could be,
but it seems like they're listening.
This is a recognition. This is the first almost recognition that there is hardware. Do you know what I mean? By saying exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, what you're saying is we are not talking about hardware, but what you're actually acknowledging is there's hardware.
Maybe there is
that
hardware
you're choosing not to talk about. Do you know what I mean? This is a reverse acknowledgement of the existence of hardware.
Well, if you noticed, their Twitter account was silly today. They knew people were watching it like a hawk, and they were just posting pictures of Zelda birds.
Yeah.
You got to get our tinfoil caps on when we talk about this stuff, Justin.
I know. It feels a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah.
But dissecting it exclusively on Nintendo Switch software.
Yeah.
Again, what they're saying is hardware will not be talked about here. But in that acknowledgement, that means that there is hardware to talk about. But here is not the place you're talking about it.
Well, okay, so if there is hardware, they're going to announce it before E3. And if there is not hardware, then we don't hear about it after E3 is kind of the deal, because why would they talk about games that are coming out for the rest of the year, maybe even over the next course of the year, and not talk about there's new hardware? I feel like it kind of puts a bit of a ticking time bomb on this thing, one way or another.
It absolutely does, right? And I do think it's just a very, and the other nice part about it here is it's actually about tempering expectations. And Nintendo's social, despite them being a bit trolly today, have done relatively good jobs when they are communicating about directs to begin to temper expectations. Yeah. And I think this is a great example of we are not talking hardware. So do not come at me, bro, after this is done like fire saying, where's my Nintendo Switch Pro, you chumps?
Or
don't
services,
do that.
Though. I mean, what if they overcorrect? There's no services, there's no addition to I don't know if it counts as software. If you were to say does that mean that there's no GameCube or N64 games coming to Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I would still consider that as software, because
that's
it's
what I wonder.
Through a service, but it's still software. It's a program that can be run on a system. That's software.
I would pull the actually GIF out on that one. And you're probably right, but I think actually that's probably a service.
Yeah. So again, I think it's very interesting. Sean, do you believe that we will get the Switch Pro before E3?
I want to believe so badly. Like, I'm in the camp of whatever the heck this thing is, whatever it costs. Like, and I will buy it. I am totally reversed from where I was coming out of the Wii U, going into the Switch, watching that January 12th thing from 2017.
You were so angry.
I was so mad. You and I were talking that night, actually.
I jumped into a podcast, and you and Bobby were fire at each other.
We were talking about exchange rates.
And then it was fine. And then I poked, I think you. I said something to you, and it kind of lit you back up. And then Bobby came to the fence, and then I kind of just walked outside the room slowly.
I didn't appreciate it, man. I was in the middle of house renovations. My wife was 8 months pregnant, for God's sakes, man. I was stressed out.
Yeah, it was not good.
Nintendo mailed it in. Everybody's like, give me your money. I was like, that was a terrible presentation. But that is all to say that they could just say Super Nintendo Switch is a thing, and I'm down. Take my money. I'm there. Now,
there was, and if we're leaning into this pocket, there was a lot of speculation this week that we were going to get the Switch Pro announcement today. Actually, there was a lot of information that we were anticipating today, with pre-orders going up tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, our good friend Jeffy Grub actually provided to us one of his top 3 Nintendo Road to E3 predictions. It's on our YouTube channel. You can watch it right now. We actually had to post that a day early, because he dated himself within it, saying, oh, it's probably arriving tomorrow on Thursday. And I was like, all right, Jeff, now I got to commit to this date. Thank you, but I appreciate it. I love you, Jeff. It's fine. He was thinking it was Thursday as well. So many industry individuals. There were so many leaks. Amazon Mexico leaked it. There was a shop in France that leaked it. There was placeholders. There was so much going on. Where there's smoke, there's got to be fire.
What does it take to post a page on Amazon? Like, for real though? Like, what is it? Is it like somebody like you or me, or is there like a process for somebody to just post a page? It's like just a giant blog. Is Amazon.com the world's biggest blog, and they just got like some guy just can post anything? Because it was called, what did they call it? The Super, or the Nintendo Switch Pro is what the listing was on the Amazon site.
I think it was the new Nintendo Switch Pro is what the title of the Amazon Mexico.
The new part makes it believable. If it was Nintendo Switch Pro, I would have had a problem with it.
It didn't have asterisks around the new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, I posted that page.
So could we still see it? Everyone was thinking it was today.
Could be.
Could we still see it next week? Tim, you're saying yeah?
Yeah, that's my guess, is that it's going to be during the media thing. And I know, Jesse, I know you said it wasn't. Your guess wasn't,
I was thinking it's less likely during the media thing, but I've been wrong before. I was expecting it to be today too. If I said if it's going to happen, this is the day, and it didn't happen today.
My thought process was this week is announcing what we just talked about, their outline for what they're going to do on the 15th, and then next week during the media days. That's when they drop the Switch Pro, the new Super Switch. So,
all right, I am starting a poll right now in our Twitch chat, folks. I'm starting that right now. Let us know: is the Nintendo Switch Pro coming pre E3? Let's see some votes. I appreciate everyone. Let's see what's going on.
I appreciate your third option.
Thank you. Stop it. It doesn't exist. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens. Now, there's more of this tweet, though, ladies and gentlemen. We've already talked 15 minutes about 4 words. Can I give you more? Yeah, sure. Look it. You bet I can. Right. Following this up, let's go on the next kind of piece of information here. Tune in for a Nintendo Direct with roughly 40 minutes of information focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch software, mostly releasing in 2021, followed by around 3 hours of gameplay in Treehouse Live, mostly releasing in 2021. Some key words there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, but because we don't know what's we know very little about what's happening past July, so this is going to fill in that gap. And they normally keep E3 announcements to what's happening in the next 6 to 9 months, they sometimes do something else, like Metroid 4 drop, the sequel to the Breath of the Wild drop.
Yeah.
Justin, if I may.
Yes, you may, Mr. Capri.
I think this part that you just read is one of the reasons why Nintendo is going to have such a strong E3 when compared to Xbox, which really is the only one, the only other one there. PlayStation's still in the corner with their ball and whatever.
Yeah.
Where you have a brand new console in the Series X and Series S and still trying to kind of get up off the ground, where the Switch is like, it's steamrolling ahead, man. Yeah. And if they give us 40 minutes of games that are mostly coming in 2021, that is how they sell 30 million more units of that thing this year. That is absolutely huge. And I was lamenting on the Nintendo Drive this week about this, that I was kind of pissy about Nintendo's the way that they play us like fiddles all the time. They're only going to give us like one little morsel at a time, and by the time you get there, you're so starving, you're so thirsty, you're so famished that you're just going to eat it up. You're going to push children and women out of the way. You're going to get there and eat that morsel up, and you kind of embarrassed. You're like, well, like, this was just Pokemon Snap, like, what did I get so crazy for? And then you wait for the next announcement. It's Mario Golf, and it'll probably not have a tournament mode, and the multiplayer will be sort of not great that way. So I'm excited to just get a little bit of a roadmap, but I don't want 5 years of roadmap. I want to know what the next part of the year is like, and that's why I love E3. So I'm very excited by this part that you said.
Nintendo does such a fantastic, I believe, unlike I think any of the other two major players. And of course, Sean, you can challenge me. You have an Xbox podcast. I welcome your challenge on this as well. I believe that they are the master class of hype. They know how to own, create
Nintendo
hype.
Or Xbox?
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Own, create hype. Like there's the peak, there's the whole roller coaster, right? The hype train goes, they own it, it comes down, and there's another wave. Like they can parcel themselves out really, really well to hit those right beats when they're on fire, right? And they can get people just kind of like foaming for these things very easily. They did it in the Wii U when there was absolutely hot trash, right? There really wasn't a lot going on there, but yet they are real masters of it. And I think to your point, 40 minutes, this is really interesting.
That's good. That's going to be very dense because they'll have like maybe one or two games that they give you the deep dive into, like whatever it is. If it maybe there's I think we're getting into predictions a little bit later, but there'll be a couple of those like, holy crap, I can't believe this is happening. And let's learn how the menus work and you play all the game. Like they really take you into a deep dive sometimes. But with the Wii U,
that there's going to be 3 hours of Treehouse, they don't need a deep dive. There's time for that later.
You'll still get it. But you're right.
If they deep dive, it shouldn't be any more than 5 minutes.
With the Switch, it seems much more intentional. Like it seems like they're being masters of their messaging inventory so much better. With the Wii U, it was just like they actually didn't have much to talk about. Yep. So what you got was just like, that's all there was. Now it does seem like, and I would believe if somebody told me that they have games ready and they're just like holding on to them. Like they don't need them just yet. You can hold on to it for now. And that's a totally opposite scenario than they were in with the Wii U days. So yeah, they are masters. But as somebody who follows this stuff so closely and somebody who wants great things for Nintendo, and I really enjoy playing my Switch, I do get a little bit like fatigued by that, what they've done before. Like you get one game, and I have heard also from fans of Nintendo as well that they get a little bit like if that misses, if they're all in on Pokemon Snap and or Miitopia. They're like, some people just don't want those games. So they feel like they go months and months and months without Nintendo talking about a game that they actually care about. So it is a fine line that Nintendo walks, and somehow it's been working out with them. I think the hardware itself is just good enough that people like having that Switch. That's not a new thought. I guess I'm a little bit surprised that it is carried on 4 years after like it was really a novelty. It still is.
Yeah. And the sales numbers back it up, right? But it's interesting because people are like, Nintendo hasn't told us what's coming, right? What's going on for past June or into June, right? If we think about it, what we already know for June, end of June, we're getting Mario Golf. Middle of July, we're getting Skyward Sword. End of November, we're getting Pokemon the remakes, and we know that in January we have the other Pokemon Legends.
Yeah. And then
August,
Splatoon
September, Splatoon sometime. I suspect Splatoon will be a summer game as well.
I would
summer
say so
2022. That's it's when they release the other ones as well. It seems, I think, correlates really well.
Yep.
But so you're looking at August, September, October, and December, where there are games 4 times months that we don't know what I would call mainstream Nintendo games. And Nintendo can slot those perfectly. It's like setting up a deck of like dominoes, right? And here's what you're going to do. And that 40 minutes is going to be a banger, and they're like, I think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be pretty incredible. Again, 40 minutes of games. This is one. It's not the longest direct, but it's a very long direct. What are we thinking is going to be in that maybe in that 2020 or mostly 2021. So I guess the reverse of that is there is 2022 or 2023 content. What do you think we're hearing from there, Sean?
In the outside of 2021?
Yeah.
Are we going
beyond?
Yeah.
Where do you think we're gonna Breath of the Wild? Where's it landed?
I mean, it would be perfect. So this is the thing. I got to tie. If I'm going to talk about Breath of the Wild, I got to tie it to the Switch Pro. They got to come out the exact same time. So if I'm thinking that a Switch Pro is happening this year, then Breath of the Wild is happening this year. And for whatever reason, I feel like it's less likely. I have a harder time believing that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come out this year than the hardware. I feel like the hardware is probably ready and the game isn't. I don't know if that's backwards, but I could definitely see them just like redoing 2017 exactly the same way in 2022. I could absolutely see Breath of the Wild and Switch Pro coming out the same time in February, March sometime. But I don't want that. I think it would be monstrous if they release a Switch Pro tied right alongside Zelda to go head to head up against Halo over an Xbox land. Like, to see that like matchup would be it would be awesome. It would be like the two giant things in Xenoblade, like going at it with each other. It's like this and like these titans going at it. That would be really exciting to watch. But I don't know. I really, Nintendo is playing its own game right now. I don't even know if they have any intention on doing that sort of thing. They could have this wide open space early next year. They could probably get away with some Pokemon this year and Skyward Sword and whatever else. I think more what I'm thinking about is what do they do with the Zelda 35th anniversary for the rest of the year? Is Skyward Sword HD the only thing that we get, or is there something else to be done? But yeah, that's kind of like that take on there. Metroid, people might want to know about Metroid. That kind of hints that like something else outside of 2021 could be Metroid, could be Bayonetta, a couple of those other things that we haven't really heard about in a long time.
100%. A lot to dissect in a really simple tweet, but all will be revealed in less than 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, less than 2 weeks. If you are here in our chat, ladies and gentlemen, in Twitch right now, you still have time to vote. We currently have, is the Nintendo Switch Pro being announced at pre-E3? 58% are saying yes. One person at 8% is saying no, and 33% says it doesn't exist. Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting stuff.
Non-believers.
Right? You got to be a believer. So, you know. All right.
What else are they going to do? I want to ask a question to those people. It doesn't exist. What else are they going to do? They're going to stick with this Switch, this current Switch, for how much longer? It's easy to say it doesn't exist. Like, how much longer are they supposed to go with the Switch Lite and like the current Switch? Another year? Is that even possible?
Well, now the interesting part is that the president did mention that they're only halfway through their Switch life cycle right now. So how are you squeezing another 4 years out of this thing?
Right, and I mean, like they can get kind of finicky and picky about words as well. Like they'll whatever the next thing is called would still likely be under the same family, same as the 3DS, 2DS, new, etc.
Just looking at consoles, not ignoring the handhelds for now, the only two systems that have lasted 6 years is the original NES and the Wii. So no other system has lasted more than 6 years. So, you know, the Switch is gearing up to be the first to hit that year 7, but I agree. I think it needs that bump, the hardware iteration, otherwise we'll have the Wii to Wii U problem.
Third strongest moles in the chat says as long as it sells is as long as they'll maintain the same hardware. It's a good point. How long can it sell when it's that much weaker than the other systems? I think it's a good point though.
Yep, absolutely. Looks like the voting has closed. 60% believes that the Switch Pro will be revealed pre-E3. Thank you very much for that voting, folks. We appreciate you jumping in here as well. Sean, speaking of the Nintendo Switch, are you still on the OG Switch? Do you have your launch day Switch?
I have a launch day Switch and I have a Switch Lite as well.
Nice.
I have both of those, but I'm not traveling to work really. Like I used to take the bus into work. That was where most of my Switch time was happening, and that's why I asked for a Switch Lite for Christmas. Got that nice Pokemon limited edition one. I love it very much, and don't really play it. And my Animal Crossing doesn't go back and forth between that and my main Switch, so that's kind of a pain in the ass that I'll bitch about on every single chance I can get on any Nintendo podcast I'm on.
You're gonna have to tell me about that because I'm getting a Switch Lite very soon, and the nice Blurple one, and I'm excited to understand how that works.
It doesn't. That's how it works. At least on Animal Crossing. Pick your Switch wisely. Pick which one you want your island on wisely, because it ain't coming with you.
Oh man. All right. So there are some other quick little E3 pieces here I'm going to run down just for information. Again, Road to E3 kind of actually starts next week ish with Jeff Keighley kicking off Summer Game Fest on, I believe it's actually like this Thursday, like in a week from now, right, Jesse?
The 10th. And
yeah,
officially he is not E3. He is his own.
I know. Like,
but it's just weird that they're doing it at the same time.
They just need to kiss and make up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just hug it out, Jeff. Hug it out, E3.
I think it was Mr. Badbit, I think, was tweeting out that seeing Jeff Keighley do his own Game Fest thing outside of E3 is like watching Michael Scott do the Michael Scott Paper Company outside of Dunder Mifflin. It's like the exact same thing. It's like, good for you, man. You'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be back.
You'll be back.
You'll always come back to me. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit more about the rundown here. On the 12th, there is Ubisoft Forward at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There are a lot of TBDs that we don't know. A lot of developers and a lot of companies are still undeclared of what they're going to be doing. Devolver Digital, Gearbox Entertainment, Games Beat, Warner Brothers Games, Back for Blood, and 24 Entertainment. We do not yet have times for them. But ladies and gentlemen, moving over to what is probably going to be the second most important show of E3 on June 13th. Of course, I assume being hosted over on the Xbox Drive. Xbox and Bethesda's game showcase starting off at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sean?
Daylight time.
Whatever. Sean? What do we expect? What do we expect from Xbox?
I want Quake coming out of Xbox. I think we're going to actually, for real, I think we're going to see tons of Halo. I think Halo's got to show up. We've been waiting a long time over there. We saw Craig the Brute kind of disappoint a lot of people the first time that Halo was shown off. And I think it's an opportunity for them to really make up some ground on that front. A lot, as well as really understanding what does it mean for Bethesda to be owned by Xbox. We kind of know, a lot of people have talked about it. There's been kind of hints of what that means, but I think we'll probably see Starfield from Bethesda Studios. I think we'll probably get a sense of what that is beyond the logo that we've seen, and maybe we can have some rational hype actually generated for it, other than everybody going crazy about this. Did we not learn our lesson with Cyberpunk, Justin Masson and Tim and Jesse? Did we not learn our lesson? We didn't see any, or No Man's Sky for that matter. We created this narrative. I get a little upset when the internet goes crazy with hype like this. And this is another example. You're just going to get hurt. Have you not been around this block before? You're going to hurt yourself. You got to pace yourself. You got to stretch and get your water. I don't know how this has anything to do with it.
A company will always fail at the expectations that the internet creates.
And Bethesda has the history of having a few bugs in their games.
Well, yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that on top of just, not being able to reach whatever hype levels people are hitting up now. For the title of the game is Starfield, and we haven't seen a damn thing about it. So people are very excited about it. But what I think we'll see a lot of world exclusive and world premiere, and Game Pass. Game Pass, of course. That is really the star of the show. You can also buy an Xbox box, but really it's the what's coming to Game Pass type of deal.
Are we going to see, and I know this might sound crazy, Sean, are we going to see any new hardware from Xbox?
What did I could see it. So here's a sneak peek at the Xbox predictions episode that is going to release on the Xbox Drive very soon. But one of my predictions was a digital version of the Series X. I think that would be a really interesting price point for them to have no disc drive in the Series X, priced at $399, so it sits right alongside the PlayStation 5, which also has a discless PS5. I think that would be interesting. The only reason I could my own counterpoint to my own prediction is they already can't make enough of these Series X's. So why would they discount? Why would they create a discount price point? But I could see them doing something like that. Or again, man, I'm giving away all my predictions. I want a joystick. I want a Sidewinder. If anybody remembers the old Sidewinders on PC gaming back in the day, I would like that. And controllers, because I get the sense that there's a lot of games on Xbox that they have talked about that are years and years away. And this is not just my own sense. There's a lot of people talking like this, that games like Hellblade are years away, and Avowed, and some of these games are far, far away. So I'm thinking that they're going to load up E3 with a lot, like I said, a lot of Halo, a lot of Starfield, Game Pass hits, and try to get you to still spend your money on Xbox stuff. So to me, that's services and hardware. So I think, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the controllers that you can customize. It's called Design Labs. You can create your own colors. You can choose your buttons and all that stuff. It's awesome. Every company should do it. But ever since they launched the new consoles, it's been on pause because the controllers are different. So I think that'll probably come back as well.
I would love it if Nintendo did that with their Joy-Cons. I know they kind of do that in Japan, but they didn't bring it over here. But but the level of customization that you could do, I think, would be awesome. If they could do that with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
No doubt.
John, Phil Spencer. I mean, we're pretty tight, him and I.
Nice. Yeah.
He's talked a lot with me, gave me some phone calls, and he says we need to get Game Pass everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen it trying to get onto Apple devices, and there's a little bit of a hoopla about that, you know. But they really believe this idea that Game Pass is, and I would argue, you know, despite my characterization here being a bit of an idiot, Game Pass is the best deal in video gaming. There's no doubt about it. And I think an incredible idea, right? They are focused on a service. Is there a possibility? Do you think this kind of ideal of this, what I'm going to call like Google Stadia, Xbox Game Pass, thumbstick, kind of pop it into any smart TV? Do you think this is a reality? Do you think we'll see this eventually? Maybe not at E3. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think that we could see something like that. Even like built into TVs. I think that's probably one of the most likely things, is just to see it like in a Samsung TV or LG or something like that, just actually built in. So it'll be like one of the options.
Sony TVs.
Can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine they get it over there too? But yeah, it'll be like flicking on your Netflix app or your Apple TV or whatever it is. So yeah, I think that could be really something. If they have like a $100 stick or something like that, you could plug it in the back, just like a Chromecast would be really interesting. It's funny because now Xbox has been so focused on games ever since the debacle of the Xbox One, where they were really trying to be like the center of your living room, because of the way that they kind of got forced back in online and track of what everybody wanted them to do, which is games. They kind of got sideswiped by Google on the Chromecast business. Like that could have been Microsoft being the thing that like streams all the stuff from your phone onto your TV, that gateway for all the online services, for it to just be broadcast onto your phone. That's where they were trying to go, but Xbox was not the right avenue for that. And they went back to games, which I think was the right move for the Xbox brand, but they missed out on that. It could have been a Microsoft branded dongle that you plug into the back of your TV, like we all do with our Chromecast. So because of that, they're going to have some creative partnerships with people who have maybe mixed feelings on whether or not this is going to be a positive, like a mutually positive partnership. Can you go to a Google who's trying to do their Stadia thing and say, hey, it would be great if xCloud was on there? They're going to say no. Could you do something with the Amazon, is it a Fire Stick?
Yeah,
like they're going to say no too, because they've got their Lunas. Like, you can't get them on Sony TV. So I think they're in a really tricky spot. And one of the things that the only way they can really overcome that is just open up the bank account. Which again, to Amazon and to Google, it's like, that's not going to do anything either. They're not impressed by, the other trillions of dollars that they have. They also have trillions of dollars. So it's got to be there, man. I don't envy some of these guys, because they have to come up with some pretty clever business deals, because it's just it's more than just steamrolling over with dollars at this point.
I'm going to be, Sean, you and I have always had these conversations back and forth, and I'm like, hey, Sean, I'm thinking about an Xbox. Piddling around with the idea of it. So I got an Apple TV recently for free, thanks to TELUS. They sent this thing to me and using it. And I thought, hold on a second. Apple TV, I can now connect to my Xbox controller, because I have an Xbox controller. And when xCloud comes to iOS, in theory, I should be able to install xCloud on my Apple TV, and I can play Xbox. Why are you saying no, Tim?
No, because it's not anything you install. It's supposed to be through the browser because of the iOS app stuff.
Oh, is that how it works?
It'll be through the browser.
Because Apple isn't allowing it as an app, because they're treating it like running code that isn't part of the code. But it isn't really, because it's streaming like Netflix. And
if there's a browser on that Apple TV, then maybe, but I don't think there is a browser.
I don't think there is.
Yeah.
Sean, I thought I had discovered the greatest idea ever.
Now, if you have a iPad or a MacBook that you can AirPlay to, or whatever they call it, to the Apple TV, then you might be able to do it that way.
I don't know if AirPlay streamed content would work well.
It's just gonna be cheap. It's just be easier to buy the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well just get an Xbox.
This is why it's good that it's an add-on. Like really, while we're talking about Xbox, that's why like the xCloud thing is good as an add-on, not the lead. That's the whole reason that Stadia I don't think is really taken off, because they don't have a home base. Like you talk about all these different like struggles that you have with streaming games, and as much as that's awesome and it's cool and it will you can reach so many more people with it, there's still some hurdles to get over. And if you don't have a strong internet connection, or if you don't have the right device, it's still going to be a little bit tricky.
It's been really good for certain games that I've played, and there, you know, like I guess the less intensive games like Sea of Thieves, not so much.
Yeah.
But when I played like Banjo-Kazooie, I was able to fire that up. You know, when it came to the cloud, when they released all those old games on there, I could play it on my phone, I could play it on the browser, and it was really nice. So, and I actually was able to play Madden on it, so that was pretty good too. So
that is pretty good.
Yeah.
I can see it's funny because the streaming part of it, like when you play Game Pass on Xbox, it's you only download the games. The experience you have on like your phone, on Android, and it is available now on iOS as well. They figured that part out.
Is it out of beta?
Yeah, well, it is beta, but at least they got more games. They had like one game, and it was part of the pilot test or whatever they did, the test pilot thing that they had. And so what I think would be really interesting is if you were able to have like an Xbox One, like the old Xboxes, and then be able to have the xCloud experience as well, so you're not having to download the games. I think that's something that could be really appealing to people who are kind of sick of that part of the console experience, where you got to download this 50 gigabyte game, and then it's got to upload or update 20 gigabytes at a time. Like that's where the streaming stuff kind of is appealing to me, because I've had a lot of these nights where I want to play Halo with friends, and they're like, oh, 15 gigabyte update, I won't be in for tonight. And with streaming, like with xCloud, that's not really a problem. And now how that relates to Nintendo is to be seen, because I don't know if you guys have noticed all these Xbox executives have a Switch in their background, just conspicuously there. Phil Spencer's got it there, and Sarah Bond. It's just, I don't know why a Switch is back there, but they have it. And whether that means Game Pass or maybe a Smash announcement coming up or something, I'm not entirely sure. But it would be amazing just to give a little like kick to Sony, because I feel like both of these guys have a little something to give.
Oh, come on now, not amazing.
It wouldn't be amazing. It wouldn't be amazing. It would be amazing. You're right. It would actually be amazing.
So, Sean, I'm gonna lean that pocket there. Maybe that's part of your predictions. You can say, Justin, I want to talk about that later, and you're okay to do that because I like you very much.
Thanks.
Do you want to talk about is Xbox and Nintendo actually going to do anything? Like, you're kind of teasing it here. You're much like Jesse. You're kind of tickling around there, right? You're giving me a bit of a tease. You're giving a bit of a roll, bit of a rub. But I need you to let me know. Are we going there? Are we saving that for later?
Well, it's up to you. We can talk about it now. I'm checking the chat to see if Kato is still here, because she'll keep me in check. Because again, she's probably the realist, and I'm the like, who cares about actual business deals and what actually makes sense? There's probably a trillion reasons why it doesn't make sense for Game Pass to come to Switch, but I think, yes, damn it, I think it is coming to Switch.
Really? You do, eh?
I don't know, man. I actually have been thinking about this a long time, and I probably not. But I think it would be great. I think it would be like, because here's the deal. Like I think that especially the Switch Lite is one of the most perfect handheld devices I've ever played. And when I have the whole, like, you can play xCloud on your phone. You've got the Xbox controller with the little grapple and the grip thing that kind of connects those two things together. It's unbalanced. It's awkward. It's a little bit weird, but it is it's obviously a good controller. But nothing quite feels as good as playing a Switch. If you're just going to have a little handheld thing, like, the solution is what Nintendo created. And for that reason, I think it would be awesome to be able to play some of these Xbox games, or the games that are on Game Pass on xCloud, play it on your Switch. That would be unbelievable to me. But I might be just wishing in the clouds, man, because Nintendo doesn't need it.
I'm wishing with you on that, but there's one caveat to that wish that I think that the business side of, I have a business Justin in my head, by the way, that, it speaks to me every now and then. And I think what it might come down to is that it's going to be limited like the Game Pass PC is, where if they do come out with Game Pass for the Switch, it's going to be limited like the Game Pass for the PC is, where only certain games are playable through the Switch.
I see what you mean. I think so. There's a couple of different Game Pass sort of slices that are happening, yes. And I think if there's an additional slice, then it starts to get too confusing, and I don't necessarily want that. The xCloud is the way that they just sort of unify this. It's not like you have different games for Android as you have for iOS. Like those games go across, and I would imagine if they were to go on to Nintendo, it would be that. But you're right.
I
like,
think
that
it would
is
be
a
part
different
of
selection.
that. I think you still get your Game Pass Ultimate, where you get access to
Right.
everything for that price. But for those Nintendo people who just have Nintendo Switches, and they may offer a lower price where it's just, you know, Game Pass for the Switch, and then you have access to maybe not the EA Play and all that kind of stuff, you know, with it.
Yeah, I see Todd Oxray in the chat. We have this conversation with each other via podcast quite often, that Xbox isn't reprogramming games for Switch. That's not and I'm glad he mentioned it, because I just want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm not talking about that Game Pass. I'm talking about xCloud, where you connect to the internet and the games are playing over the cloud. So there is no reprogramming that is required.
Correct.
You're actually connecting to an Xbox somewhere in, I don't even know.
That's why I was thinking the Nintendo, the Switch version would be limited, because they're not going to reprogram anything for it.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if the WebKit mini browser that's in the background of the Switch's OS is compatible enough, similar to what Safari does, to allow an app to access that to do the streaming through a browser, just like, say, iOS and Android would.
Yeah.
It's effectively very little work at that point. It's a mobile device at that point.
Kato in the chat says, what would be the benefit to?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
One?
Also, I almost feel at times we should be pulling her in, because let me tell you, she's lighting up the chat on fire and lighting you on.
Good,
I think I'm going to like chatting with her tomorrow.
Yeah, she's fun, man. I don't know that I really ever thought about this until just this moment. And Kato challenges me on this on the Nintendo Drive as well, where I wonder if xCloud on Switch would drive Xbox fans to buy Nintendo consoles. I wonder if that's a thing, if it's a way for Nintendo to find new customers, because people would want to play. They would rather play xCloud on a Nintendo Switch, and I would be there. Like, I would be shouting that from the rooftops. That would be the best place to play xCloud.
Hopefully, it'd be easier to find hardware versus finding an Xbox.
Yeah, now a couple, because there's no doubt, and just as an FYI again, if you're in our Twitch chat, I have put up a poll right now. What is Xbox doing with Nintendo at E3? Is it a Smash character, Game Pass, xCloud, or nothing at all? So feel free to jump in there and vote as well. There is no doubt that Microsoft, and this is the question she's asking, Microsoft makes out on this relationship or this agreement, I think, much better off than Nintendo potentially. Right? Microsoft gets a hold into 85 million units already on the market.
Yeah.
Right? There's no doubt a massive foothold in the East, where they struggle, and they always have struggled. So they're kind of in some ways they're Trojan horsing themselves into the Eastern market. But yeah, the question is what, and this goes back to your argument earlier, Sean. Nintendo probably doesn't care about the zeros.
Yeah. Right.
They got enough zeros.
They got cash.
They got a war chest. They survived the Wii U. They've got a war chest. All right. So yeah, that's a great question, is what is Nintendo getting out of it now? But I'd love to see a transfer rate of, I have an Xbox and it forces me, or it encourages me to buy I would almost wonder, like, what if there was like this, and again, maybe it goes to your statement, and again, crazy Justin, a joint hardware together from Xbox and Nintendo.
Now you're just talking crazy. Nintendo,
I know, right?
Like a Nintendo PlayStation type of deal.
Yeah, crazy, right? Like maybe a Nintendo exclusive handheld hardware that is Xbox with built-in. And people are talking about here, they were talking about earlier, they were also talking about the Nintendo Switch Online. There can be 2 tiers of Nintendo Switch Online. For $20 a month, you get the Xbox game, xCloud, and all the NOS stuff, or you just have the base model, which is just all the NOS stuff.
I heard a lot of people talking about the different tiers and stuff, and my general take on it is that simpler is better. But I'm hearing it so much that like maybe I'm wrong on this one. That maybe the right answer is a whole bunch of different types of, like, at $7.99 you get this version, and at $14.99 you get all this other stuff, and at $12.99 like. That sounds complicated to me. I'm not really sure, but it does seem like that's what everybody jumps to as a solution. Another thing about, like, what does Nintendo get out of it? I wonder too, like, what their thoughts are on competition. You don't often think about what are Nintendo thinking when it comes to PlayStation or Google Stadia or Amazon. And they might want to just be in control more than anything. They don't want to just see what happens. So a partnership with Microsoft on this might give them that element of control where they can dictate the future of games, especially as you mentioned in Japan, where PlayStation really is like, PlayStation's a big deal. And maybe one of their ways to counter, if they're not going to be, matching them on power and the games that are available on PlayStation, there's just going to be totally different games available on Xbox and PlayStation versus what's available on Nintendo Switch. And Game Pass would allow them to fill that gap for them, where they'll have like the Nintendo games, and then they could also have the games that PlayStation typically has. But you think about the games that go on Xbox and PlayStation, there's like a 90% crossover. There's really only like 10% of games that are exclusive to either one platform. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple first party stuff that happens with Xbox. There's a couple first party stuff that happens on PlayStation. There's some exclusive deals, but it really amounts to like maybe a dozen a year or something out of the hundreds and thousands of games that come out every single year. So it'd be very interesting what Nintendo would get out of xCloud. It's access to games that they wouldn't normally be able to operate on their system through this streaming service. So that could be interesting as well, to just give it the what for to PlayStation.
Yeah.
I also think it's access to the older games like Banjo-Kazooie and stuff that they lost.
Yeah.
And now they would get access to a lot of the older games that they used to have. But speaking, Justin, to your physical hardware, crossover thing, it's possible that if there is a true Xbox or Game Pass software that we get on the Switch, maybe there's a bundle where you get green Joy-Cons, Xbox green Joy-Cons with the Switch, for a special bundle in the holidays or something.
I see Gamer Dad in the YouTube chat says Xbox Nintendo hardware will never happen. Gaming Dad, you're probably right, but for a moment we can dream together. Just dream. See what happens. All right, let's see how this poll is shaken out, by the way. So we have 29% of the people say Smash character, 29% say xCloud, 43% say nothing, and nobody thinks it's Game Pass. Nobody thinks it's Game Pass.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I don't even think it would be Game Pass. xCloud would be perhaps something. The Game Pass doesn't really make much sense at all. I don't know why you gave that as an option, Justin. That's kind of silly.
Because xCloud is rolled into Game Pass, right? So
one person now thinks it's going to be Game Pass.
It was probably you. You went and voted
just because you said it.
Yeah, they were like, we feel bad for it.
It could be interesting too to see. Maybe it's none of these things. Maybe it's more just crossplay stuff. Borderlands 3. This is the thing. Borderlands 3 just announced that crossplay is not happening, or it is happening on everything except for PlayStation.
Yep.
And personally, this impacts me greatly because I have Borderlands 3 on PlayStation and played it with my wife for a little bit, and I didn't enjoy it all that much. I felt like the hardware was a little bit underpowered. Some things like getting into the menu system took me a really long time. So I stopped playing it. But then I heard, okay, crossplay is coming for Borderlands. That was promised from the beginning. So I bought it on sale on Xbox and figured when they enable crossplay, I will play on my Xbox and Chelsea will play on her PlayStation because that's where she likes to play. And then they announced that it's not actually happening. And it's like, that really stinks. So this partnership could be more
blame Sony for that.
Of course. So the partnership could be more crossplay coming. It could be as simple as that.
Just to understand here, Sean, I could play you on my Google Stadia on Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
With you on your Xbox, but not PlayStation.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh,
I'm actually surprised that it's actually on Stadia to be like that's.
I got it for a tenner.
Good for you. That's pretty good.
A banger of a deal.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most people paid more for an Ouya, so I think you're on top there. Yeah.
I think I'm winning.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right.
And I've got a playable version of Cyberpunk.
I found my Ouya in a closet a few months ago.
And you were like, ooh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Nice. All right, the chat was lighting off. We're going to continue to go through again. We're stuck on Xbox, but we're going to move on as well. On the June 13th at 3:15, Square Enix will be having a show. PC Gaming is having a show at some point later that day as well. Future Games a show. There's a bunch of other stuff that we don't really care about. All right, moving on. Okay, so let's talk about some other interesting stuff. Nintendo is apparently, am I correct here, setting up a Nintendo museum?
It looks huge.
Yes.
Jesse, tell me more.
Yeah, so this came in on a Japanese press release. This wasn't released in North America. So the Nintendo's Uji Ogara plant that used to manufacture Hanafuda and playing cards, in addition to being a repair center, will be updated to be a Nintendo gallery, where they plan on having Nintendo's historical products showcased with exhibits and experiences being available to the public. A planned completion by March 2024.
Okay.
Going to Japan in 2024, guys.
Yeah, right? Head over to Patreon /Nintendo Dads. Yikes.
Live episode from Japan.
Right? Man, this would be pretty cool. A Nintendo museum in Japan. Would you, Sean, you'd go? Yeah, if you could?
Man, I'd love to go to Japan. And now with the whole Universal Studios and everything, which is looking pretty good. It's anybody who's been to the store in New York City, that's a microcosm of what I imagine this to be. And that's a pretty special experience for anybody who's really been there. I think I think it's really awesome to see Nintendo starting to embrace that. It could seem maybe that they're being a little bit bullish on how much they're like maybe thinking they're bigger than they are, but I like it that they got the museum, they're putting themselves in amusement parks, they're doing the movies. I think this is all part and parcel of what that really means, and solidifying themselves as a massive real gift to entertainment in our lifetime.
They've been into starting in arcades over 40 years ago, and they've been a toy and card company for almost 140 years, so they've got a history. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see Nintendo really kind of actually lean in on their IP, right? And this was a decision they made about 5 years ago, give or take, right? When they were really struggling in the Wii U. This was kind of an actual happy byproduct of the Wii U struggling, when they were coming to coming hat in hand, essentially stockholders being like, "Oh, this is not going well," and they're like, "So what are you going to do about it?"
This was Iwata's direction, right?
Yeah, this was under Iwata's direction of kind of well, let's diversify, right? Let's really kind of, I don't want to say cash in, because that's the wrong word to use there, but I think in some ways cash in on our IP and really go beyond just video games, right? Go on to
their pillars. They had to adjust those pillars, right?
Yeah,
so
those exactly, right? Where we've got where are we on that Mario movie? It's got to be coming up soon, right? It's next year, isn't it? By Illumination.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen anything on that yet. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a 40-minute trailer of the. They
said software. Maybe that's what they were trying to divert our attention away from. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, they just recently got into children's books. And if you're interested in children's books, ladies and gentlemen, on our YouTube channel right now, Uncle Timothy Alf will read to you the latest Super Mario kids book. You can put the iPhone up to your kids, turn on Tim, and he will read you. Turn on Tim is the wrong words. Turn Tim on. Nope, still not right either. Play Tim. Nope, that's not it either.
Wow, you're just striking out.
Not working out there.
Click
it is Tim. Story time with Tim.
Story time with Tim. And you can have Tim watch your kids. Nope, dang it. All right, nonetheless, I digress.
Yep. And I don't give away the ending either, so you still have to go out and buy the book in order to get the ending.
Really? Sorry, Sean, what'd you ask?
How many books is it? Just the golden book thing?
Yeah,
is that
it's
what
just
you're talking
the little
about?
golden book, yeah.
Is it? It's just the one with the red cover? Yeah, we got that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It reads like an instruction booklet. If anybody hasn't, it's these are all the characters, these are the power-ups, these are his buddies, and this is sort of like the story. It's like an old.
You're giving away too much, Sean.
We don't know which power-ups or which buddies. Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks great. I love that book. Go. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
A little golden book. Yep. I did a little reading of it, and I did not read the last, say, 4 pages of it. So
did you get to the last page? Did you get to the last page, Tim? And you went, and that's it for tonight. Good night, everyone. And then you put the book away and you went, shh.
That was creepy.
And you slowly walked outside the room and just left your camera on, because I'm hoping
I did not do that. That is not what I did. Sorry.
Tim.
I actually read to the end very quietly, and they said, "That's it, everybody." And walked everybody.
All right. Last couple pieces of kind of interesting, really, you know what, man? I wish this was around when I was in high school. Nintendo is partnering with PlayVS to bring eSports to high school varsity athletic programs, including Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Splatoon 2 for the fall of 2021, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe occurring in spring 2022. Sean Capri, if we were 20 years younger, do you know what I mean? Living our best life.
No kidding. Get A+. Is this like a gym class type of deal? Like, do you get grades on this?
We get a letter jacket. I want a letter jacket.
This is like a varsity program.
Varsity eSports. It's eSports, my man.
Well, I get the eSports thing, but yeah, no, like the varsity thing kind of oddly enough makes sense to me. We don't have varsity here, I don't think, or at least I never knew about it because I'm not athletic. But dude,
I want the letter jacket.
That sounds awesome. That actually is amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's about time, but really what has happened, Justin, is we as kids, we would have thought that would have been great for school. Well, guess what? We got old and now we're in charge and we're making this stuff happen. The dorks are in charge and now we got esports happening at schools.
Yep. So I actually really funny. University of Lethbridge has announced an official esports team that they are forming for their scholarships programs. And I was awesome. Man, I wonder if I can jump in. They're looking for like coaches or looking for just people to help out. You know, like
it's going to be the sad part is when you realize that coaches are like at their prime at 30.
I know, right?
Like, shit, I'm too old to be a coach, man. Right? Not even, let alone a player.
Sean, I'm turning 40. I'm turning 40 next month, Sean. Man. You and I are you and I are birthday buddies, aren't we? Are we like a day apart?
End of July. End of July.
What's your date? July
28.
23rd.
23rd. Yeah. I knew that.
Yeah, we're
birthday buddies. They're crying about just turning 40.
I didn't say nothing about 40.
Yeah, you said 20 years ago. It's like 30 years ago for me.
It's okay.
What is it about this that makes me feel like, out of all the things that have happened in esports over the years, like it's obviously a gigantic thing on the planet, and this is the one that I go, this esports thing seems pretty legitimate. Like now that it's in schools, like it seems like this is the move that really steps it up in my brain.
I haven't even told my son about the story yet. You know, when I do, his first thought was, I wish I was 5 years younger.
Yeah. Do you think it's because it's Nintendo that makes it legitimate for you, Sean?
I think it is because it's Nintendo and games that I know about and like can understand and I can play. Like I feel like I'm kind of like part of that. It's like League of Legends is enormous, but I'm like I couldn't even tell if you showed me a screenshot of League of Legends. I don't know if that's that or MOBA or Dota or whatever the hell. Yeah. So
it feels more approachable, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's kind of amazing. It just goes to show the thing about like Nintendo games is that it's there for like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and it's also there for like the top tier of gaming. Like that's kind of how do you make games like that? How do you make games that scale like that, where you can put it on auto drive or shave hundredths of a second off of your Mario Kart track time? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I do think it's, it's again, just a great example. I loved your commentary though before of like, games like something like Dota or, League of Legends feels so cumbersome.
Dota is the game, MOBA is the genre.
Yeah. It feels like you're not able to get into it. Right. But when you see something like a Mario Kart, right, everyone can play Mario Kart. It's universally, it's kind of like everyone can do it, whether you're good at it. Like it's easy to learn, hard to master. Yeah. And I think that's the interesting part about it. And Nintendo crafts that so well. Splatoon 2 is a great example of it there too. Right. So yeah,
it's also simple to understand if you were to watch it. Like if you just see like it looks like other things that you've seen maybe on sports before. And I've said the same thing actually about virtual reality, where like Nintendo could be the one to make virtual reality go mainstream. Like if they leaned into it, they have the IP to go ahead and do that. They could make it fun and put their little spin on it, and that would do it. And
I remember you and Bobby talking about that a lot.
The super virtual boy.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's what you would have to call it. And for esports, I think that's why I'm kind of reflecting on like why did that's the big deal for me. I think it's a similar type of thing. It's even more mainstream than how as big as esports has become. It's like, well, Nintendo everybody knows, so it can and also it's because it's for the kids, right? It's almost like it's like an incubator. You're gonna get these kids, you're gonna have them training for it. It's something that is, I don't know, just real. So it's actually legitimate. It's not like this pipe dream that you might be able to go make some team somewhere else someday. It's like it makes it so accessible. Like every kid wants to go, all the athletic kids, they want to go play for the soccer team or for the football team. And now there's another option for kids to do at their school. And they don't have to be the best in the city to go ahead and do that, or the best in the state or province. They just have to be like, competitive enough within their school. And I think that's why it kind of hits me. And this is the first I've heard about it, is when you guys just announced. I didn't know this was a thing until just now. So that's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that the part that will disappoint a lot of kids is because it will be considered a varsity program, just like football or baseball or soccer or whatever else, means based on the rules in their school districts, they're probably going to have to get a physical every year, even though all they're doing is playing games.
No way, really?
Really?
Unless they make a change. I know that our school district, if you are an athlete, if you are in a varsity program, you have to have a physical every year. And it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up falling into this first.
Interesting.
My kids, two of my kids did bowling for multiple years. Like my daughter,
they need a physical?
They needed a physical for bowling.
Interesting.
And my daughter made state her senior year.
Oh, well, good for her. That's great. Very cool. All right. Well, let's move on. I do want to ask this. Gaming Dad asks, how many times have you guys checked Nintendo's Twitter page today? Gaming Dad, that is such a rookie move. I have auto notification set up for my Twitter.
That's what I was about to say.
So it just automatically tells me when Nintendo tweets. I don't have to look. Twitter tells me. Who's a sucker? This guy. I'm just kidding, Gaming Dad. We love you.
I noticed that my Twitter client that I have up doesn't always tell me every tweet that comes in. I'll get notification of a tweet that comes in, but I'll look on my desktop and it's not there. I have to actually go into my phone to find it.
I love this. Auntie Marco says kids losing their scholarships because they tested positive for G Fuel. That is great.
That's awesome.
Wow. Man. But seriously, Sean, I feel like if we were 25 years younger or 20 years younger, we would totally be doing this.
Well, here's the deal. What is actually going to happen, and you guys will sell the movie rights for a high price. You coach a team in Lethbridge. I'll coach a team here in Edmonton, and we'll see you at provincials, my friend. We'll see you at provincials.
You know what? My team's already made up of 2 kids. How would yours sit now? You got 2 kids. Let's go, Masson. You got 3 kids?
Yeah. Well, they're not mine. I just found them on the street. And you're like, hey,
okay.
I need
legitimately, I've got my kids. I've got 2.
I even went to found the local kid who was really good at Splatoon, and he's like, no more Splatoon. I gotta move on. And I'm like, nah, kid, you gotta come back out of retirement. We got this one more chance for you to be great. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. I'll come back for you, but only for you, Capri.
I love it.
A lot of the Mighty Ducks. It's
either the Mighty Ducks or Top Gun. I think it's Mighty Ducks and Top Gun coming back in together.
Yeah, but all of it, I'm there for. You know what I'm saying? I'm there for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to some more stuff. I can't believe I'm saying this on our show, Jesse. I swear every time you are the person who writes the notes. Atari is finally getting a release date to the public. It's June 15th. It's going to be available at What the hell is Micro Center?
I'm sorry that you don't know this, but it's a computer parts store.
It's a U.S. store.
It's U.S. There is probably only 12 or 15 in the country.
So is it like the U.S. equivalent of Radio Shack?
Radio Shack.
Yep. A bigger
Radio Shack on steroids.
Radio Shack Best Buy size.
Okay. All right. Well, apparently it's available at Micro Center, GameStop, Best Buy, and AtariVCS.com.
Yeah, there was
Jesse,
there was tweets this afternoon that Best Buy had pre-order links up already.
That's why Best Buy's websites are breaking. It's because we're pre-ordering Ataris.
That's right.
Man, good stuff. Jesse, how hyped are you for this? If you had to get a scale of 1 to 10, how many artisanal sandwiches out of 10 are you hyped for this?
0. Remember,
really?
I already have one of these units, and I did a video on it, and I haven't touched it since I did that video.
Then why are we putting it in the chat? Oh, you're killing me here.
For the lulz?
Oh, you're killing me here. Mecha Dragon, how dare you compare Micro Center to Radio Shack? Thank you very much. Micro Center is awesome. Wow, there's a lot of people coming at me for Micro Center stuff.
Nice going, Justin.
So hold on. Sorry, eh? I didn't know. Sorry, guys. Good for you, eh?
Maybe it's like our Memory Express. Maybe it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Or should I say Micro Center is Radio Shack on G Fuel?
You know, it doesn't work the second time. It doesn't. I
No, it
appreciate
doesn't.
you trying.
I tried.
Damn.
But I love your energy. I love your energy. You know what I'm saying?
Because I like reusing someone else's joke.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. All right. Oh boy. We're gonna keep moving on, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even really okay. Well, let's go. Let's move on to let's discuss. We're not doing this rumor because we already talked about this. Let's go to let's discuss. Sean Capri, you've sat here for an hour and 15 minutes. Just ramble, a hot mess of a podcast. We have finally got to why you actually want to be here, why you genuinely care, other than hanging out for us. Sean, road to E3, your Nintendo predictions, man. This is all you. I want to hear them. I want to lather them. I want to sit in them. I want to soak them. I want to put them all over my body. I'm going to write them on my forehead. Going to do some squat. Oh, I'm sorry. I got lost in.
Yes, I think we got to leave the room again.
I got lost in some other Twitch channels recently. I apologize. Sean, what's going on with your stuff?
You just want me to like rattle them all off? You want to? Here's the deal. I just booked. They did the announcement. They're going to do the thing on the Tuesday, and then I immediately went to the little human resources portal on my company.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, Tuesday off would be great. You know what else would be great? Monday as well. I'm going to take Monday off as well. So I've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm all in on E3, man. They're cutting it close, though, you guys.
Let's go.
They're not very respectful, I got to say. Like, if I threw a party and was like, hey, it's happening tomorrow, you'd be pretty pissed at me because you'd want to be there, but you wouldn't be able to make it because you got other plans. Not cool. But here we are.
Cool. I appreciate it.
I'm just glad that they're doing it. And I love E3. Yeah. I love this time of year. This is what This is what starts most people into like podcasting and content creation because they see E3, the predictions. It's so much fun, man. I love it.
Well, I want you to start me off with one of your first predictions.
Okay. Well, I did take to Twitter and I just asked anybody out there if they could just provide me with some predictions and I would pass them off on my own.
That sounds appropriate.
Not give any credit. Yep. So I'll start with that one. I like this one. I will give the credit though. Chris at ChrisHL94 said, "Here's a great one for you to use."
The moment you read the name, I was like, "What?"
NHL 94 comes to the Nintendo Switch, and I gotta say that is it's awesome, but it's also and it's also very Nintendo. The game is like a year old, but what it is, in case people don't know, is it's the old game NHL 94, but with current rosters. You play with Connor McDavid, you play with whoever that Austin Matthews guy over in Leafs land. It's great and it's perfect for Switch.
Wow,
it would be
Chris
EA
is
jumping
very
in there.
sneaky. Chris is very sneaky.
Did he dedicate like his entire like Twitter handle to like NHL 90? Like he seems like he kind of likes this game.
Yeah, Chris has leaned in a little bit on this one, and God bless him. We've all said when the game comes out, Chris, we will pay for it for you. Like we will buy it for you. And if there's some way that I can set up time with the developer and you can interview them, we will do these things because Chris, and here's the reality. I think it's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
And it is such an EA thing that they could do that. But EA and could it play on the Switch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I mean, we bust Chris's chops because he comes in here and he throws us around all the time. Like Sean, here's the point. There is such a game about this that 2 weeks ago we said every time NHL 94 is mentioned in the chat or on the podcast, you need to have a drink. And I'm really concerned about the amount of people who died because of alcohol poisoning.
Oh God.
All right? I'm really concerned.
Oh man.
So this is a no-brainer. I really legitimately think this is a no-brainer, but it's with EA. So I don't have faith in the brain.
Yeah.
Well, are you
the afternoon
score?
was also no brainer, and we've seen where that went.
Are you keeping track of, because they did announce that there's, I don't know what it was, 7 or 9 games that are coming to Switch from EA, and they've released a few of them. I don't know if you've got like the tally so far and how many we're expecting to get, because that has something to do with my predictions as well. Maybe for tomorrow night, Justin Masson, when we record for the Nintendo drop.
All right. I think they're at 7, or I think they had 7. I think they're at like 6. I have to take a look at it.
Yeah.
But I think like it was FIFA, it was Apex. There was some burnouts in there. There was Plants and Zombies. There was Sea of Solitude.
Oh,
right?
is that
Like
one of them? Oh,
yeah,
man.
there was an EA
you're right.
original, and also are we counting Knockout City? Because Knockout City is an EA original.
Ooh, that's right too. Oh
Wah,
man,
wah, wah,
look at
wah.
you. Look at
Right?
you keeping track
Look
of
at
EA.
the
I'm
big
proud of
brain
you.
of this guy.
Look at
That's
the
why
big
I'm like, if
brain on
Knockout
that
City can be
thing.
on that, why is NHL not on it? Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
Well, I mean, there's other EA games I would love to see on there too. And again, I'm just going to tell you my real prediction that will stay on the Nintendo Drive as well. Sims 4. Where the hell is Sims 4? It would be perfect on Switch. People would go absolutely bonkers for it.
Yeah.
Maybe the only reason is I feel like it's a similar audience as the Animal Crossing audience, but people would lose their minds. I think The Sims had a great game on 3DS as well, and I think it's about time. I think that would be a bit of a banger, as they say.
Sean, because you revealed one that you were going to reveal tomorrow night when I'm guesting on your show, I'm going to give you one of mine. You showed me yours. I'm going to show you mine.
All right, I'll look.
Right, it's on EA as well. Jedi Fallen Order coming to the Nintendo Switch cloud version.
I can see it. I mean, the cloud just makes everything possible
because it's already on Google Stadia.
Stadia,
and all they need to do is move the architecture over.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting on that train with me, Justin.
You're welcome, buddy. I love you. I appreciate you. We're gonna do this together. It's gonna be the year of dreams.
Have you played it? Did you ever play somewhere else?
Good.
Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah, it's a really good game. It'd be an interesting over under to do on how many games will show up as a cloud game, right? Like how many are going to show up like a Resident Evil? I think they did Resident Evil 7 in Japan was streaming, and then Control was here, which actually was pretty decent.
Hitman 3 was here.
Which one? Sorry,
Hitman 3 was here.
Hitman 3, yeah,
day and date with everyone else.
I could see them doing at least one cloud game during the E3. Like it's not going to take over, right? And I don't think that they really want to confuse the message at all. That there's a bunch of these games that are coming over in a cloud sort of scenario. I think they're just still testing it one game at a time. But that's a good guess. I think it's a little old, but it's okay. I don't think that really matters in Nintendo land these days.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay. Sean, what else you got?
Ooh, are we not going to?
Oh, we can. Jesse, what do you have, sir?
I don't have anything. I didn't.
Okay,
awesome.
so
good
because
job.
we're definitely gonna get a Switch Pro. Like the assumption is that there's gonna be new hardware, and you cannot launch new hardware without a racing game. That's right, Justin Masson. With all the 60 frames that you're gonna get from your new Switch Pro, new Nintendo Switch Pro U Super Deluxe, F-Zero is coming back, man. You got to launch a new console with all the blazing speed with the fastest racing game that's ever been made. Give me F-Zero into my veins, man. All the music, they had the greatest tracks on the Mario Kart and all the fun. I would love to see F-Zero come back. And I know what everybody's calling for this with the predictions that you do in Nintendo Land. You just run through the roster of franchise and you go, that one's coming back. This one, at least I'm attaching to some form of logic in that you should launch a new console with a racing game. And what better thing than F-Zero for Nintendo? Let's do it.
I like it. All right.
Or Star Fox Racing. Okay.
Tim, what do you think of this? What you got a prediction to add on to this, or what are you thinking?
I thought Sean was going to go with the Pro that there would be a Forza game, that Microsoft's going to bring Forza to the Switch.
I think I've said enough craziness about Xbox tonight.
There would be a Forza game for the Switch. How's that?
Interesting. So F-Zero, hey? I think Nintendo has buried that franchise, buddy.
I think so. I think so too.
I love your energy and your enthusiasm, but I see in the chat here F-Zero 99. It'll show up as a 99 game, right?
That'd be
like that'll be Okay.
Well, let's be honest. I say my real predictions.
And then 97 people will fall off the first curve.
Yeah.
And who the hell knows what's going on? Like what we're going to get into tomorrow, and we'll say it here as well, Justin, is that like who knows what's going to happen? No, there is of all the platforms to predict for, Nintendo should be the most fun because none of us know anything.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm and this won't show up tomorrow. Like this is like off the top of my head, like I alluded to it before. What is happening with Zelda? Like how are we going to see Zelda show up? I think it would be interesting to see if they're going to do a bundle or separate packages for Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD. But my real prediction that I made for this show is that I would love to see a Link Between Worlds HD-ified for the Nintendo Switch. I absolutely adore that game. I think probably my favorite 2D.
Would you do
game.
a bundle in that? Would you do a Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds, like a kind of bundled package?
God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because you're already in that. If you're already doing the one, you're doing in that art style.
The only thing that keeps me from that is that you can play a Link. I think can't you play a Link a Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, like Switch Online?
Yeah,
you can still kind of play
you
it
like
over
that,
there.
Jesse? I thought that was funny.
What are you guys giggling about over here?
We're laughing at Quag311 says Tim likes his vroom vrooms, Justin likes his shooty shooties, Jesse likes his grindy grindies.
Grindies.
Nice.
That's what I was laughing at.
That's a
so
shirt.
funny.
That's your guys' new shirt.
Right?
We gotta have one for Marty. What's Marty's? You got
Vroom vroom, shooty shooties, grindies. Little picture of your head next to each one.
Oh yeah, Marty can end with a woo.
Nice.
You can have that one.
I love that. So would you do it in the art? Sorry, would you do in the art style of a Link's Awakening that they just redid? That chibi.
Well, a link to
Link's
to the Past would be,
Link Between Worlds is a great art.
yeah,
I know, but
like I would just want it to be just
okay.
just HD assets, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't, and that was the perfect. What they did for Link's Awakening was perfect because it was just so you had to totally transform what that game was because it was Game Boy. Some of these other ones, like anything with like classic pixel art, I don't know that I would imagine it being transformed in quite the similar way. And A Link Between Worlds was gorgeous. I just want that looking like great on a 720p screen on my Switch, and off you go from there. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, what do you think? Are they going to lean into this 35th anniversary? Is the Skyward Sword HD all we're going to get? Like, are we going to get a special edition hardware?
Nintendo's going to Nintendo.
This out? Yeah, or maybe
Nintendo's going to Nintendo.
Yeah,
so Breath of the Wild.
I know the Nintendo pals last week. God bless Andros and
what
Mitch.
A show! Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
dude.
that was fire.
How am I supposed to follow up to that? That was one of the
Andros and Mitch showed up. You know what I'm saying?
328 of these things, 329. That's one for the ages.
That's flag that one. You know what I'm saying? Flag that one. His commentary is he's like, yeah, we're gonna basically get like 9. Like in the next 9 months, we're getting every remake.
Like German 9, like
9,
like
German
none?
9. Like we're gonna get them all. I don't think so. I think we're gonna get like maybe a bundle. I could see a Wind Waker Twilight Princess bundle. I could see that.
Which bundle?
I could see Sky
Jesus bundles or Jesus sandals in the chat.
Jesus sandals, Mitch. Oh. We should commission someone to make a shirt that says that for him.
Honestly.
My thought is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. We'll get a bundle there. That kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I would love that.
Skyward Sword is going to be July. I don't know. And then we're gonna have Breath of the Wild 2 in there. And I think and they're gonna
to bundle them though, like to pair them up and then to have Skyward like on its own, like that seems strange.
That's a good point.
If Nintendo's going to Nintendo, each one of those suckers is going to be $60 a piece.
Then why didn't they break up Sunshine and Galaxy?
COVID.
The Sunshine. The weird thing about the All Stars is
that
simulation
as opposed to being
you didn't get
rebuilt.
Galaxy 2. That was the strangest part about it.
Yeah,
and even with the precedent with the original All Stars, we did get 4 games. Would have been awesome if you got.
I think we're still going to get those games eventually, just split up, not in the same package, and you get them digitally. But yeah,
because Wind Waker on its own on the Switch would be astronomical. It would be enormous, And I just don't know if like they need even to do it, if they need to squeeze it all into 1 year. Like I could actually see them doing Skyward Sword this year. Next year is Twilight Princess. The year after that is Wind Waker or something like that, where you're going to get an HD Zelda game. 1 per year. That probably would make more sense to let the Zelda games kind of breathe a little bit rather than trying to squeeze it all in. It kind of depends on what else they've got going on.
I think they're going to give 4 swords in the online.
Yeah, I'd love
to
see
with NSO
all that
you
stuff.
get 4 swords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Andros is clarifying he believes they're going to all be 100% separated, by the way. There's no bundles.
Yeah.
Kato's coming in here with fire.
Mm-hmm.
$60 and they disappear after a month.
Gone. Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't buy it, it's your own fault. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really can't stand that stuff, but
no, it's garbage,
You
right?
don't yet own a
Absolute
Switch. It's your own fault, right?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in seeing it, beyond the games, what other collabs will Nintendo do to celebrate Zelda? Right?
Yeah.
Are we going to see a Zelda clothing line, a Zelda Lego set? Are we going to see like what are they actually going to do? Because they pulled in some of those things for Mario, but like it feels like they didn't really give a good set. Like if Mario's your top tier character, in your franchise, and that's the celebration you gave him last year, like my bar is set real low.
That's true.
For Zelda. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and we've been around this. We've been around this a few times before where we think, well, next time they have a major milestone anniversary to celebrate, like they'll learn from the last one, but they don't. They just keep, it's pretty mean.
So you're talking about comparing.
I like Mole's suggestion.
What's he saying?
King Dodongo in Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Tim.
You guys were talking about comparing things, right? So how do you compare how Nintendo did Mario for their anniversary versus what Sega did with Sonic's anniversary?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I think, like that's the thing, right? And maybe it's because of the fact it was a pandemic. I don't know. But like it just felt a little rough. I don't know. Yeah, it really did. Right. And maybe they're going to give more love to Zelda. I don't know. I don't really know.
It's funny because there seems to be a conversation happening on Twitter I've seen where like who's more popular, Sonic or Zelda. Yeah,
and that's all like, thanks to Kind of Funny.
Is that where it actually started?
Blessing started. Blessing. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, good for them.
That's a ridiculous conversation.
But and this is where maybe we as Nintendo fans, we just set ourselves up for maybe a little bit of disappointment coming out of this E3, because I think some of us, and maybe I'm just not really doing ourselves a favor by bringing it up. I don't know that many people have been even thinking about Zelda's 35th. I don't even know if we were going to talk about it tonight if I didn't bring it up. And it's like, maybe we shouldn't think about it. Just be glad we're getting Skyward Sword HD. It's not even my favorite. It might be my least favorite 3D Zelda game. And here I am thinking, I think I might just buy it because I kind of want to just play a Zelda game this summer.
Yeah.
It's right around my birthday. Might treat myself. If I don't treat myself, I cheat myself. And
right.
I mean, there's a lot of that game that I really do like. Honestly, like it's a very, very lovely Zelda story. And
I'd still like to see a new 2D Zelda.
That's where my heart lies, to be honest.
Yes.
Like Lincoln is Link because of 2D Zelda, not because of Ocarina of Time or any of the 3D stuff. It's really the 2D Zeldas are my favorite. So that's why my actual prediction was Link Between Worlds. I want that in HD.
I wouldn't put it past them to do that one, because I remember that Doug Bowser did say they were supposed to be porting more 3DS games to the Switch.
Yeah.
But we just never saw as much, I don't think. I mean, we got Miitopia so far. So
yeah, I'd be okay with that. I'd replay that again. I'd play Minish Cap again. I don't think that's ever been re-released outside of virtual consoles.
Yeah. Bust out your Wii U virtual console.
I really want a new game.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Sean, what else you got on that list, buddy?
Oh, let's see. I don't know if this is unique to me. I think a couple people have maybe said something along the lines of this, but Persona 4 Golden on Switch would be amazing. I would buy that all over again. I could see it absolutely happening. Made its way over to PC pretty recently. Think that but the whole, is it console exclusive to PlayStation, and that would allow it to go to PC? But I mean, it's been a long time, and people should play Persona.
It's been 10 years since I released on the Vita, so
Sony forgets. Like the paper that they signed, it's like it's lost or burnt up or something like that, or faded. So it doesn't even count anymore. But I'd love to see Persona on Switch. As many RPGs onto Switch as humanly possible, because I originally played it on the Vita, and that allowed me to put in as many hours into it as I did. Very similar to Breath of the Wild, honestly.
Like I think I put the grindies, right?
The grindies. Yep, with the teenage girls. What, Justin? Huh?
Nope. You can back yourself out of that one.
Just gonna sit in this one.
Okay. After dark territory here.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Do you want another one, or do you want to?
Yeah.
Talk about
I want to. Maybe I'm going to ask you. I'm going to do a little bit of fishing with you here.
Okay.
A little bit of I'm going to throw one out there and see what you think of it. Speaking of you just kind of you're throwing around RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
What's Monolith doing nowadays?
What are they doing?
What's the next Xenoblade going to be?
It's funny. I was watching the Nintendo Shack just before coming over here to.
Boo! Sorry, just
actual
natural
Shack.
reaction. I apologize. I apologize.
the Shack that's going to blow over any moment now. And they were talking about Xenoblade 3. Man, maybe there is something, because I just rewatched the direct from February, and they started with the whole Rex was there, and he's like, I thought I was going to be in Smash, and it was Pyra and Mithra. And I got to tell you, man, like that could be a little something, little hint that maybe there is something happening in Xenoblade land. I played Chronicles for the first time when it was released as definitive edition on Switch, and I fell in love with that. thought I didn't need any more Xenoblade in my life, and then I see these characters from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that had me quite confused, to be honest with you.
Sure.
A little strange. I kind of want to play that. But yeah, I Xenoblade is such a great, as I've learned, is such a great setting, a great premise. I'd like to see more of that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe like a 2.7 or something like that. Like not a full-on sequel, not a Xenoblade 3. It's too early, I think, for like a definitive edition or anything like that. But maybe could you see DLC for the second one? Are they done with the DLC on that?
Well, I think they're done. Like the Torrent of the Golden Country was so, like that original release was 2018.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was December, I think, of 2018. Like, I mean, they're 3 years out. Almost.
I do want to see more Shulk. Like I really, I don't know. I don't want to get into spoilers or anything. I'm not sure how exactly that kind of works. Things pretty much wrapped up, I think, for a boy in the first one, which makes it sound like something awful happened to him.
Sure. Yeah.
I really fell in love with that whole crew. So I'd love to see that, but I don't know. Are they able to crank these things out that quickly, Justin Masson?
I don't know. Like it all depends on how big the world is, how much they're building on. But we do, again, so if we're thinking a game like that, it's a 4-year development cycle.
Yeah.
Now Monolith is a fairly big organization. They have a pretty hefty staff.
Aptly named.
Right. Yeah. Aptly named. Like, is it possible that we could see a 3-year cycle on it?
I would love it. I would.
Right.
Really,
and if so, this
powered by the new, it could be exclusive to the Super Switch.
Yeah. Like this. And it seems to be a franchise that seems to be gaining more and more momentum in the West.
Yeah.
Right. There's, we're seeing Pyra and Mithra added. We're seeing the the definitive edition again. Right. So they're really like they're vesting money and time and energy into that franchise. It makes me believe that they want to do more with it. And I think as you look at the story, the kind of the main installments, I think it's possible we could see something.
Yeah, it could be one of the ones. Do you think it's like this year? Because they're talking mostly 2021.
I think it could be teased for 2022.
Yeah.
I think that's mostly this year, meaning that they're going to tease something. Like we might get a title card, and it might say 2022.
What do you think is more likely if that's the time window that we're talking about? 2022, you get one of these two things. You get Xenoblade or you get Fire Emblem. What's more likely, do you think?
We get them both bookended.
I think it's more likely you get Fire Emblem because I think Fire Emblem has really in the West grown. Like I mean, we got to remember Fire Emblem for a while was a franchise that they were almost putting to bed.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was, I think, Awakening on the 3DS that hit in the US or on the North American side that just like lit fire under it, so to say. And it just became a pillar of a franchise now.
Yeah.
So
Nintendo says Fire Emblem
Five Houses.
5 Houses MMO.
Oh, good God. That one was a little confusing as well. You're supposed to romance these students, like they're your students, man. Like what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing in your life right now?
I love Birthright. That was the one that caught me, and I've been, I guess, there ever since. It's only been 2 games really, but I'd love to see another Fire Emblem game. I don't know, like somebody said in the chat that 3 Houses saved it. That's an interesting, like broad brush kind of statement, I would say, because I don't know that like everybody was really all about it. I think there was some mixed reviews on that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if it saved it. Solo something I think had mentioned as well, but I mean, I think it continued to bring in more people, right? Which is exactly what you needed, and created more traction. And the great part about it is it was in a time space. It was last year. I think it was last year that 3 Houses came out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that it?
I think so.
No,
I think it was summer.
That was the year before.
Was it the year before? Okay. So the year before, 2018, and there was nothing in that space in that July. So a lot of people jumped into it. I think, Tim, you did the review or the coverage for us on that one, as I recall.
There's actually 3 of us. We were going to do kind of like multi-episodes, but it's just the game is just so huge.
Yeah.
A lot of us couldn't find the time.
July 2019.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's right. Cool. All right.
I'd like to see it.
All right. Sean, what do you got for us next, buddy?
Oh, let's see. Do I have anything? I'd mentioned A Link Between Worlds. That's one I would like to log. Here's something outrageous, Justin Masson.
I love outrageousness.
This is something I've been asking for maybe 30 years, maybe 20 years, something like this. You get a mouse with some buttons on it, and you play some Mario Paint. I have wanted Mario Paint to make a comeback ever since it's sort of been. They pay homage to it in Mario Maker. Like there's hints of it in Mario Maker. I think that would be great. I've been of the mind that Mario Paint should actually just like come along with a Switch. Like it should just be like Microsoft Paint, like on your PCs. Nintendo's should come out with Mario Paint. I think that.
And they
that
don't
would be
need
awesome.
new hardware mouse anymore. If any USB mouse will work. Like the Game Garage coming out in a few weeks will work with a mouse.
Or even like touch, like truly, the Switch is actually, or even the Wii U probably could have had it as well. With
Sean, what if they update the album to be Mario Paint? And then,
amazing.
And then you take, whatever things you store in there, and then you can draw all over it and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, that would be so good. That would be amazing to bring back.
And then that way you can post your stuff from there.
Then you need that Fly Swatter game.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, all right. I like
Mario
it.
Paint coming back. That'd be a bit of a mic. That'd be the one more thing. Not Breath of the Wild, not Mario Paint.
Okay.
Yeah. With a cardboard mouse.
Fly Swatter for Smash.
Fly Swatter for Smash.
Fly Swatter for Smash.
What else you got there, Sean?
Is that not enough? That was 5. That's
buddy. I'll take whatever you're giving me. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. That's all I've written. We can just make shit up on the spot.
We could. So, Sean, let me ask you this. So I'm gonna throw a hard question at you. All right. E3 Nintendo Direct opens up. It's Breath of the Wild.
Ooh, yeah.
We get the date. It's November.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're like, cool. Awesome. Okay. Great. Okay. And then we're wrapping up the thing, and they're like, we have one more thing.
One more thing. Oh my gosh.
What is that one more thing that Nintendo has that burns down the house?
Well, I had an answer until you said it's going to burn down the house. I'm not sure it's going to burn down the house, but I could picture just a swinging red tie and some bananas going around. I think Donkey Kong could be the final thing. I think the rumor about that the Odyssey team is doing the Donkey Kong, whether Tim seems to be very upset at even the idea of this. I love Donkey Kong. I absolutely love Donkey Kong, and like I said, I don't know if that's the type of thing that like burns the house down where everybody goes, "Oh my God, Donkey Kong!" But it could impress us just what they show. I think the name Donkey Kong is going to do certain things to Donkey Kong fans, but if the Donkey Kong that they show us is something beyond what our imaginations can treat us to, then maybe they could win more people over, especially if they have that polish that we would typically see with a Mario game.
All right, you made a pun. I don't even know if you realized you did. Did you? I
don't even know what I said, Jesse.
You made not really a pun, but a reference. Are you familiar with the Pac-Man Fever soundtrack?
No, I would think.
Okay. One of the songs on there is called
Fever.
"Do the Donkey Kong."
I would think "Do the Mario" from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Well, this is 1983.
From side to side.
This was.
Come on, it's time to go do the Mario. I can keep going.
Anyway, so when you said "Do the Donkey Kong," Pac-Man Fever is what came into my head.
Okay, all right. I see here. Gaming Dad says the one more thing is Metroid 4.
I think Donkey Kong swings a little bigger than Metroid. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
I think just a little more like Metroid is a big deal for Metroid fans, and I'm not like I think I would be excited, and I think everybody perhaps on this call would be excited as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think Donkey Kong would be bigger, I think, than Metroid.
I would like to hear. Thank you for your closing arguments, Mr. Capri.
You're welcome.
I will now send it over to Mr. Timothy All for his defense of Metroid.
Yes, I think Metroid 4, depending on how they present it, could be bigger than Donkey Kong. They have to present it right, though. It has to be it has to be on the levels, I think, of the darker side of Nintendo games. I think too, not necessarily too dark, but that this is a more mature type of game Nintendo's bringing out, and this is what it's going to look like, and this is how it's going to, this is what you got to look for. And I think that could be maybe not initially like everybody's all like if it was a Zelda type thing, with jaws dropped and like screaming and yelling like with happiness. But I think it's something that could lead to lots of conversations afterwards. Like lots of people talking about, hey, that one more thing. Did you what do you think of that Metroid 4? And if it's done right, they're going to talk about it and speculate it all the way up to the next thing. Maybe, at the Game Awards where they show maybe more or something, like that. So that's where I think that one more thing would be a good thing for Metroid Prime 4.
Okay, I like it. Sean, any other predictions you want to share here, sir?
I think that's gonna do it, man. I'd like to make up something else, but I think that's good. We'll have more.
That's awesome.
We'll have more on the Nintendo Drive, but
right?
it's probably good. Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love it. Okay, awesome. Right, making up stuff, seeing what happens. The chat's popping off on it. There's a lot going on there as well. So that is fantastic stuff. Hey, let's move on to our event section.
It's not 2.5 pages this time.
And ladies and gentlemen, after the response we got last week, I am excited to announce a new section of Nintendo Dads, a new session, a new part called 2 Minutes with Jesse on Pokemon. And I'm just going to pull up the timer again here. And let's see here. Yep. Okay. It's still set. It's still set. No, yeah, it's still set. Hold on. I just want to turn off my. Can we pull in a virtual background? So, you know what? Hold on a second here, Jesse. Can I share my screen, Jesse?
Yeah.
Can you?
I think I granted it this time.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, you have access.
Just hold on. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Just let me just make some edits here. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen.
Can I ask questions during this event?
All right.
Talked about.
Okay.
Can I ask questions?
Cool. Are you ready, Jesse?
No, I brought up the wrong scene. Okay. Now I have the right scene up.
3.
Can I ask questions?
Yes, but he has to answer them in 2 seconds. I'm not stopping it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Pokemon GO events. June's research breakthrough is Clamperl. And as an extra bonus, you'll also receive a free remote pass and twice the XP when you achieve the breakthrough. Level 5 raids this month, starting from June 1st to 17th, is Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, and Registeel. Starting on June 17th through the 30th will be a surprise legendary, so we don't know what that is yet. Mega Raids. From the 1st to the 8th, Mega Lopunny will return. From the 8th to the 17th, Mega Slowbro will make its debut. From the 17th to July 2nd, Mega Gyarados will return. Wednesday night raid hours. June 9th will be Registeel. June 16th is Regice. June 23rd and 30th is to be announced. June Community Day, June 6th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time featuring Gibble. More information will be announced later. Additional events, June 8th through 13th. A very slow discovery will include a collection challenge to trainers featuring Slowbro. June 17th through the 20th, the Solstice event. Summer-themed Pokemon will be encountered more in the Northern Hemisphere and winter in the Southern. From June 25th to July 1st, trainers will be able to sink their 2 front teeth into an unexpected event. No
30
other
seconds
information has been given, not even a title. And that's it.
You're done?
Yep.
There's the air horn that was asked for as well. Well done, Jesse. Also, I do want to shout out here. Nice job on the air horn, man. I would like to now, just between the 4 of us, quick nomination. Thank you to Fontez, that this section will now be referred to as Jesse's Pokeminute.
Nice.
Do I hear any seconds on that motion?
The Pokeminute is never a minute.
I second that motion to call it Jesse's Pokeminute.
Okay, thirded. Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving forward, this is now Jesse's Pokeminute. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jesse, for doing that. I know that, I think everyone's also angry at me for doing that. But you seem to take it well in good spirits. Tim, what questions did you have for him?
I was joking because I was seeing if I could stop the time with questions.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Because last week that was only about 1.5 pages. Last week I had 2.5 pages, and he had me doing 2 minutes. I did have to trim some things.
And you know what? You did it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I just push you a little bit further, and you can do amazing things because I have faith in you. All right, let's move on to what we've been playing.
Does that mean
Sean Capri.
we need to make a bumper for Pokeminute?
Yeah, you should.
We'll have to think of something.
Yes, we
I
should.
still hear Zach whenever these bumpers come on in. I hear Zach doing a thing, and then Justin says, "Do it," and then the music plays, and then Zach comes back and he says, "All right," and then he jumps into it. I remember that like it was just yesterday, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, hope he's okay.
Sean Capri, what have you been playing, sir?
Is it okay to admit that I've been playing Miitopia and kind of liking it?
Just the demo.
I didn't buy it. I'm playing the demo because I don't know anything about this game. I kind of just saw it and thought, like, what the heck is this free version of, or this paid version of what was like free with Street Pass with Find Me and everything. But what a cute little game, man. This is actually kind of nice. And I think I'm going to have to put you guys into, like, I'll have like a little Nintendo Dad's village. And nice. I'll populate that. The what is it called? The Darth villain, whatever the heck it is. The evil person is my co-host, Console Kato from the Nintendo Drive. So that is super fun. And the first person,
as it should be.
First person I made to tag along with me, of course, was Bobby Pauls. So I've got the Nintendo Guru and the little me kind of just like bopping along together. Like, I mean, of course, my friendship with him is like timeless, and I will treasure that for the rest of my life. But whether you have something like that or you just have like a good buddy of yours or whoever, there is something really cool about just seeing your me. Like the way they did the Miis is perfect. You can make them look as maybe close to realistic, or I tend to over exaggerate like some of the features. So my nose is gigantic. My eyebrows are real big and thick and huge. I like to make big anime eyes for my character. So I think I look pretty good. And then I give Bobby his little goatee and also his big little nose. I think we both have the same nose, actually. Or maybe related if you go far back to Italy, far enough. The Paolis and the Capris, we're probably cousins or something like that. So we're bopping along and all that kind of stuff. And then you show up to a town and you can create Miis from scratch. You can just use the defaults, or if one of your friends are playing, you can download their sets of Miis. It's kind of neat in that way. I totally wrote this game off, and I don't know. It's that classic Nintendo just wackiness. This is not a game I don't think anybody else would have designed or asked for, but it's got very simple RPG elements to it, but it's that personal touch. It takes a little time for you to go ahead and do that, but if you do it, it can be pretty cute. It can be pretty rewarding on that front, man. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm Pokemon Snap a little bit too on the side, but it hasn't it hasn't caught me as much as I thought it would after my first couple of days with it. I thought I was going to be going back. But yeah, I don't know. Kato's in the chat saying, is it worth $60? I'm cheap. I'm the last person anybody should ask that question because I almost don't buy any games for $60. I guess except
and in Canada,
Nintendo.
it's 80.
It's 80. It's I mean, Nintendo is an interesting spot because I will buy games. That's the only time I will buy games day one, is because I know that game won't come down in price later. It doesn't serve me any purpose not to buy it on day one, so I just buy my Nintendo games day one. But yeah, for now, I'm going to kind of see how far the demo takes me on Miitopia, because the save data carries over, which is how you do a demo, by the way. That's kind of like a requirement
the
now.
Foundations of doing it right now, is right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, man. Like trying to keep up with the so many first-party games that are coming out. And with all seriousness, I'm so looking forward to Mario Golf, you guys. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be there day one. We're setting up like tournaments. It's taking over. Typically, I stream Mario Kart on Thursday nights. Like, is tonight Thursday? Yeah. Normally I'd be doing Mario Kart right now. What the heck?
I know, right?
Like, I'm supposed to be somewhere right now. But yeah, Mario Golf is going to be the thing. I'm going to be playing that pretty soon too. So I'm in a bit of a like holding pattern because I've got a couple games I never finished on my Switch that I kind of want to go back to, but I don't think I've got enough time to really finish like a Fire Emblem Three Houses or something like that. But that's kind of where I'm at, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mario Golf is going to be like it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. And we saw some early previews that were released, embargoes released today on some early previews. I know Game Explain had one up. I believe Kind of Funny had one. I believe IGN did as well. I think it's going to be such a fantastic game, right? And I love the asynchronous of the Mario Golf games. It looks great.
Yeah, our community is going to be really big into it too. coming up.
Drew and
next couple
John's
months.
getting a tournament thing planned up. That
Was
if,
that
you know,
confirmed? The asynchronous game, like you can play and not have to be on at the same time. I don't know if that was actually confirmed. That's what I want.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I know they
I didn't
did
hear
that on
that
the
it
3DS one, but
Right.
we don't know yet.
Oh, I thought it had been. Then I apologize.
So I had the exact same moment, Justin. Like it seems like that's what you should just have in a golf game now.
Yeah.
Anybody who played 2K's game last year, that was awesome. That was such a great feature that you could play and not have to show up all at the same time. Especially because we're all friends from all over the world now. That's very hard to do, even if we were in the same time zone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, come on, Nintendo.
Get it together, Nintendo. Come on.
Seriously.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Those are some great games then.
Yeah,
Good
man.
things. What anyway, and like if you were like to recommend a hard one, if you like walk away from this, would you or Miitopia would be okay. I know Marty was.
I'm only on the demo. It's hard for me to say everybody else should go buy because I certainly didn't.
I know Marty's
been playing Miitopia, but since he's been out last few weeks. We haven't had a chance to hear from him yet on that.
Yeah, but I know he's pretty happy with it as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very surprising.
Yeah, Jesse, let's head over to you. What have you been playing?
Yeah, the first game I want to talk about just came out yesterday called Overboard! ! We got a code and I did a stream of it last night, and it's kind of like a smaller version of like a visual novel mystery, but this one's got a twist. So you're on a boat on the way to America. Is from England. It's set in the 30s. I forget the exact year. And a murder is committed, and you have to convince everyone else on the boat that you didn't do it. But the rub is, you did it. And so I did one run through. The run throughs take about 30 to 45 minutes. I did one run through on the stream, and of course I got caught and got thrown in jail once we made it to New York. So when it starts the next run through, it keeps track of how many attempts that you've got done, and it now gives me like a checkbox of things I need to try to focus on. Like, you need to get into this person's room, you need to gain this person's trust. So try to do better the next time, and then also reminds you what choices you made in previous runs, so you can try new things. I haven't tried the second run yet to see if it plays any better. The story was interesting. I just wasn't in the mood to run through a second time at the time. But I do plan on going back and trying a few more runs to see if things work out better or not.
How long did you say it took you to get through that first run?
About 40 minutes.
40 minutes, okay.
Yeah, in the description it even says each run takes 30 to 45 minutes. It depends on how much talking you do with others or how much just idly waiting you do. You're able to kind of choose all that. And you're limited to just locations on a ship since you have nowhere else to go until you get to New York.
Nice.
The next game I also did a video on this was released last week, called Route Me Mail and Delivery Company. So you are a new employee to a delivery service, and you're supposed to go, basically for every map, you have to go to every house and deliver the mail. And then there are 3 houses that you have to deliver a package to. And there's a package icon standing in front of a person standing outside the door, so you know who you need to talk to. And if you're supposed to be done by 6 p.m., you can go up to 8 p.m. before it really times out. And there's an early bonus if you're done by 3, and super early if you're done by 11. But by the time I got to the 3rd stage, I tried 4 times and could not clear it. I could not deliver all 38 letters in the time. So I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong or if I need to grind the other levels to earn up enough money to buy upgrades. It's just, I just felt that they don't give enough time to do it. So I wasn't having fun.
And when you're not having fun, it's time to end the stream. Did you stream that one?
I did stream that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think I streamed that last week. I have to remember when, but I did stream that one. And then the last game I want to talk about, Tim's also played some of it, is World's End Club. This was originally a game I wasn't interested in because it's, from the makers of Danganronpa, which I didn't like. But at least I'm familiar with what the type of story that they tell. And yeah, it's from the same people, but it's not really anything like Danganronpa. So if you're expecting that level of weird twists, this isn't it. And in fact, Tim and I both played the demo. I think you played it to completion, right?
Yes.
And while the gameplay of the demo is kind of the same gameplay throughout the rest of the whole game, it's a mix of some platforming, simple puzzles, and dialogue trees. It's really kind of, I say the demo kind of lies. The story part of the demo doesn't exist anywhere else in the game. Especially when it was like 3 separate stories. So I won't go into the end game spoil. I completed the game. I got the final credits. I'm only missing 2 stickers, which is something that's new that wasn't in the demo. They added 30 stickers to collect in the game, and if you want to go back and collect the stickers that were in the original level, you got to play the whole original level again. So that was kind of a bummer. I was hoping to just continue from where the demo left off, but I started over anyway. And so once you finish the area in the demo, you find all the kids find themselves in a city where no one's around, and so they had to figure out that they're 1,200 kilometers away from Tokyo, which is where their home is. So they don't know how they got there. They have no transportation, so they end up. So it starts off as a journey to get to Tokyo, and then once they get there, things happen. So I won't get into that as a spoilery, but I liked it. It's the story is very shonen-like, if you're familiar with that term of manga. It's like Naruto, My Hero Academia. It's looks like it's written and meant for younger boys as opposed to adults. All the characters are in the same grade, and I guess probably the highest year in elementary school. So you get an idea of how old they are, and the one big gripe I have about the game is, and it's not just because of this game. I have the same gripe in anime when they do this, is in localization they take away the use of Chan, Kun, and San, and when they're talking to each other. So the one character refers to everyone as like Mr. Rachel or Mr. or Ms. whoever they're talking about, and no 12-year-old will talk to another 12-year-old like that. I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening. But they will say Rachel-san or Nyoko-san. So they just should have just kept that in. But again, that's a nitpick that always bothers me. But other than that, I like the game, and it has some good twists, in the middle and near the end. And I won't say what I want to say because I think that's also spoilery. But it took me 15 hours to play through, so it's not entirely long.
Awesome.
You can play through it over a weekend or most of a week.
Okay, Tim, you've been playing it as well. Do you want to add on to some of the stuff that Jesse was saying? We'll transition to you.
That's what I got up running right now. I didn't complete the game farther, like Jesse said he did. I'm just at the Oida area. So, and but I've been having a lot of fun with it, especially the demo. The demo caught me off guard. It was a demo, so I figured I'd jump into the World's End Club demo and play the game just to check it out, see what it was like. And just the craziness about the game is what drew me in. And I knew because it was a demo, it probably wouldn't be anywhere near the actual game, although some of the gameplay is. and it's mainly just for the story is why I'm playing this game. So there isn't, like Jesse said, there's some platforming elements and some puzzle elements and stuff like that in the game, but a lot of the story and how each character is built up and how they find their powers and all that kind of stuff is very interesting, and just getting to the end is what I'm looking forward to. Jesse, you were gonna add something?
Yeah, when you showed your screen, it reminded me of a few more things I wanted to mention.
Sure.
There are points in the game where you have a choice to make, and if you've played, remember Radiant Historia, where you saw a literal timeline of events, and you're able to go back and forth and change your mind to create a new path.
Yeah.
This game does a little bit of that, but not right away. But
Right.
and then each node of that tree, you have three options. The one you'll see the most is it's just called Act. Now that's your action. You can use abilities if they've been awakened, platforming sections.
Mm-hmm.
Then one's a story node, and that's just
A lot of talking.
just a lot of talking. There's no action. Just listen.
That's the
And then
campsite, right? More so the campsite.
Well, there's story, and then there's camp, which has more talking, but some of it is optional. You don't have to listen to everybody.
Okay.
But you want to talk to everybody and hear what they have to say. And when you say you're done talking to everyone, then it'll kind of turn into a story, mandatory story bit before going on to the next node.
Yeah. This the reason why I'm really digging this game is because of the craziness, and plus I don't have the time to get into a lot of the same anime stuff that Jesse is familiar with and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff in this game is probably fresh for me more so than you, Jesse.
They make a reference. I made a tweet about it when I saw it. They made a reference to the kernel thrown in the lake or the river or something that very few people in North America would know what that's a reference to, but pretty much everyone in Japan knows what that's a reference to.
And that is?
It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken kernel.
Okay.
Was literally thrown into the water, and it caused bad luck.
That's funny.
I think there's a food theory episode talking about it. One of the first ones from when he started that channel.
Cool. Yeah. So I've been playing that again. I didn't finish it as like Jesse did, but I hope to soon. I've also been playing another game called Drive By, and that's by spelled with a B-U-Y. I mentioned this, I think, last time I was on the show, and I did a video on it. I've been playing some more of that, and I actually got Sammy to play it because he was interested in it. The only thing is that as I play more and more of it, the price of entry is steep because it's $25 to play, but I don't think there's $25 worth of gameplay in this game. And essentially, it's basically kind of like a cross between Twisted Metal and because it's car combat and say Mario Kart, I guess, but kind of like the balloon battles you had in Mario Kart type of thing. That's what this is. And basically you have three modes where you're collecting coins and trying to collect the most out of the three other players you're playing against, or you're playing keep away with a piggy bank and keeping that piggy bank for the longest time. Again, with weapons and stuff, you're shooting at people to steal the piggy bank or whatever. And then there's a package delivery one where you get paid, and you of course want to deliver the most packages and get paid. And again, you're playing against three other people. But it's a lot of fun. I just don't think I think 225 is too high for that game. I think it should be a little bit lower, maybe 15. Because Sammy was, like I said, by the way, Sam always says hi to everybody.
Hi.
I let him try it, and he was wanting to buy it because there isn't local multiplayer. It's only online multiplayer. So I had him try it on my Switch to see if he liked it, and he was like, I want to buy it. And I said, well, put it on your wish list so in case it goes on sale, and we'll get it for you, or we'll keep an eye on it. So, but it is a lot of fun, and it'd be fun to have a lot more people playing online. We've also been playing Boomerang Fu some more, especially with the latest update. Justin, I think you're on mute or something. I can't hear you.
I am sorry. I was just
There
saying
you
it's such a great game. It's a great
it's a lot of
jump
fun.
in play.
Especially when they updated it and added some more characters. We actually just unlocked the hot sauce character. And actually, Sammy beat me this time, this round. This last time we played, we got through all the, what is it, like 20, I think it's like 20 something times you got to beat somebody in order to win. And we got up to the wire where it was like 19-19, and then he beat me. He did a good job. And he was like, after he beat me, he was like, okay, I'm done. I was like, are we ever going to play this again?
Don't like, need to, Dad.
He's
Don't
retired
need to.
now. He's retired.
Yeah, you gotta walk away when you're the champ. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. So, and then the final game I've been playing is Beautiful Desolation. I also did a video on the Nintendo Dad's channel for this game. And I put that on hold for now because World's End Club came out and I wanted to play that some more. But I'm going to be going back in the Beautiful Desolation because it is, again, another unique story that has some crazy characters, lots of, and I'm just getting into it, so I'm not even sure where this story is going, but there's a lot. It's set in the 80s, kind of has this Stranger Things feel to it, you know, and it has that 80s vibe to it as well, but then it's got a lot of future tech from what seems like an alien tech that came in and bolstered the society with the technology and all that kind of stuff, and you're making discoveries. And in fact, the person who I'm playing a character as has some conspiracy theories about why this is here, and ends up going to this thing in the sky that sends him and his brother shooting off into the future of this world that he was in, and he's basically trying to make him and his brother are trying to get their way back to their own time. And you're discovering more and more things about what he's done in the past that has rippled into this future. So, and again, the characters are really strange. Like, this one character I came in contact with was essentially a skull talking to me through a kind of astronaut helmet type thing. That was giving me advice that was kind of like on a walker, four-legged walker. And when I came back to talk to him again, he decided to give me a part of him to control my spaceship to be able to fly around in this map. So it is really crazy story, but like I said, I'm enjoying it, and I want to get back to that as soon as I'm done with World's End Club too. So again, I think this one's another 15-hour, 20-hour game. Beautiful Desolation, just like Jesse said, World's End Club is kind of like 15 hours too, in that range. So these are nice, short, deep games, and I'm looking forward to getting those complete. So that's what I've been playing.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you. Jesse, I don't know if you saw the message I sent
breaking
you.
News. Oh, I didn't see what you sent me, but there's apparently breaking news from Persona Central about Shin Megami Tensei 5's information, including a release date. They're saying it's November 11th, 2021.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe some early breaking leaks as well. Jesse, just asking if you could possibly get Marty's call ready. He had sent in. Yes,
I have it ready.
All right, I will tell you what I've been playing. Knockout City. I like hitting people with dodgeballs.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, you like it, Sean Capri?
It's so good. But no, don't let me interrupt you. I just wanted
to... I was going to say, I ranted on it last week. It is occupying the space in my head. Apex has slowly came back into my playlist. I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
Also, just as a note to everyone else, I have not played Fortnite in over 3 weeks.
Congratulations.
And unless they do something crazy for this new season, which reveals next week, I'm done. Battle Pass is done. I'm sticking with Apex, and I'm sticking with Knockout City. I'm loving Knockout City. It's a ton of fun. Sean, you playing it? What do you think of it?
What a massive surprise, man. I've been going on and on about it, like, who needs this game, and it's dodgeball. That's silly. And EA's trying to do this game that looks like every other game that's out there. It doesn't look inspired, blah, blah, blah. I said all the terrible things about this game. And I was absolutely wrong, and I couldn't be happier to be wrong about it. It is so much fun, and it's so accessible. It can be very intense. Like if you ratchet up your skill set, you'll be matched up with other teams. It's amazing how intense this game can actually get. But also, it's just dodgeball. You just kind of go and you smack people with the sound effect, of course, is very satisfying. It's in a weird way, like, but also terrifying. Like, you don't want to get hit by that sound effect, but it's great, man. I totally. One of the ways I've been describing it is actually it reminds me a little bit of Splatoon, but also of ARMS. Like, I think a lot of people talk about Splatoon, but it reminds me of ARMS. The way that you can bend the ball in a similar way that you would bend your arms when you're playing that game. So very, very cool. I think EA did a great job of kind of switching their strategy on giving people a 10-day free trial. So it is free for people to try. It's the whole damn
Not
game.
anymore.
Well, wait, so was it 10 days from when they started it, or did you get 10 days?
I believe it was their block party. I believe it was their 10-day block party.
Oh, well, with that said, I would still recommend people buy this game because it's like $25.
Yeah.
I think it's really fun.
I'm really curious what does the end of season 1 look like? Gens in 60 days. What happens then? Is it just you're just buying their currency and then you can like a battle pass essentially? Is that what they're doing?
I think so. Yeah,
I would assume, right? But it was kind of a little bit unclear. And I love the fact that, Sean, it started off with the idea of crossplay, right? That was the backbone of, like, I love the fact that I'm able to play with you online, or I'm able to play with somebody else who's on Xbox. Yep. So good. Loving it.
Yeah, easy to do. And crossplay, like, sometimes if you'd be like, how the heck does that even work? Like, is there friend lists that are not your Nintendo friends list or Xbox friends list or whatever? They made that really easy to do. Easy to find your Knockout City ID, easy to find somebody else. You're up and playing, no problem. Which is, by the way, the best way to play this game. Like, no doubt, is with your friends. Like, with you got a threesome going. Who doesn't want to have a good threesome with some buddies?
Right.
It's a pretty good time, man. Balls flying around all over the place.
Right.
Yeah,
just the sound of bow hitting balls. You know what I'm saying?
Just balls all over the place, dude. Just
right,
smacked right in the face.
That's exactly it.
You're dipping, you're diving, you're dodging.
Without balls, you know.
Yep. They need a wrench mode in this game.
They do.
You need to throw a wrench, then you can dodge a ball.
Absolutely, they do. That is how that is not already thought of is disappointing.
Or even like all the different outfits from that you saw in the Dodgeball movie.
There's got to be some crossover event, right?
The Average Joe. Was it the Average Joes? Was that them? Was that movie?
I think
mixing up basketball. I'm not even sure anymore.
Basketball. That was a great movie.
You have a basketball game too,
right?
Wasn't really?
Yeah, Knockout City. Good call, man. Thanks for bringing that up. That's
You're welcome. Yeah, that is in my rotation. That and Apex right now. Still doing Apex.
Yeah, look at that.
I know, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have been playing. Let's Jesse, we'll head over to our community spotlight here in a quick second, but do you want to maybe just quickly do? Yeah, okay, you can hit the button.
Out.
Oh, do you want to do the voicemail first?
Yeah, why don't we? Marty has people have been asking what's up with Marty. Marty has been absent for 2 days or 2 weeks now, and Marty sent in a message, and I want to play that message for you, Marty, or for Marty now.
Hey guys, it's Marty here. Just wanted to pop in, not to talk about Nintendo or video games or anything. I just want to say sorry I'm not on the show this week. Some of you may know that last week on Wednesday night I lost a good friend, someone I grew up with, suddenly to a heart attack. Tonight was his memorial service, and I'm driving back from it right now. And I just want to say thanks to everybody in our community who's reached out, who has said kind words, who's asked if I needed anything. And I especially want to say thanks to Jesse and Tim and Justin, who have just been absolutely so great with all of this. Justin for coming in last week when he was scheduled to not be on, and Tim for arranging all that, and Jesse for just showing up every week and being awesome. These are three guys I've never met in real life, but I love them. They're my brothers, and I am very thankful for them. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you who's part of our Nintendo Dads community. You mean the world to me. Thanks so much for creating something that is so super special in my life. You guys are awesome. I won't be on next week either because of camp, but I will be back and ready to talk about E3 the next week, and I can't wait. Love you guys, each and every one of you, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Should we tell Marty we're not doing an E3 show that week? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, obviously, big thank you so much for everyone. I see some kind words in the chat as well for Marty handling some difficult stuff. I think just to sit in his pocket for a moment, I think Sean, we're very well kind of aware of some of those challenges that can be faced. And I think a lot of people in this call are aware of that as well. And people in our Twitch chat as well, but just the communities that we have that rally around us. And I think we are always just so blessed and so thankful for the folks that support us. That again, sometimes these are people you never actually meet face to face, and all you have are Zoom calls or DMs or conversations in here or listening to a podcast. But the feeling of community, and I'm just really so proud of our community for helping to rally around Marty as he goes through this time as well, and we just wish him well. Excellent, thanks. Let's transition over to Sean and Community Spotlight. It's a hard transition, but let's do that, will we?
Up over here. Holy crap.
If you are unaware of who Sean Capri is, and he's pretty humble kind of person, let me tell you, I think he is probably the best podcaster on the internet by far. And I am so awe-inspired by the work that he does and the shows that he puts out and the hustle that he does. And so I know, Sean, you probably wouldn't say those kind words about yourself, but please tell these people about your amazing content, your shows. Where can they find you? What do you do? Where are you on the internet, and why? And I shouldn't tell them. You shouldn't tell them why they need to subscribe, because I think they should. But kind of give them the elevator pitch, would you?
Sure, man. Well, first, my heart goes out to Marty. Just an absolutely impossible scenario to navigate, and my heart absolutely goes out to you, Marty. I'm heartbroken to hear that news. Hope you're doing well. This being on the Nintendo Dads, I joked about it that I had kids to make sure that I could be on this show. It does go back a long time. Like I've known you guys for so long that there was a time that I've known this podcast and listened and been a fan and known. I've hung out with Justin and Zach a couple of times before, and it goes back to before I even had kids. Like the history between me and the friendship between me and this show, it goes back so long that it's like there's almost no podcasting time for me without the Nintendo Dads, and that's so special to me. It really is, man. Like I think what were we, the class of 2015? Like there's a couple of us that kind of all started at about the same time. This show has always been so special. So I'm just really grateful to have the chance to be here and hang out with you guys. I know that you have tons and tons of listeners and people who watch you every single week who would kill for the opportunity to sit in this spot, and it's not lost on me. So thank you for giving me the chance and the invite to come hang out again. It's a special night, man. So I just wanted to say that before doing the whole plug-in thing, but I just love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you are always welcome on our show. We are so, the podcasting community it was what brought us together, but I think just genuinely just being friends, I think is an incredible part of that, right? And you're always welcome here. You're always part of our community, no matter, we give each other a ribbing every once in a while, but I think that's what family does, and how we support each other as well. And we're just so happy that you're here as well, spending your time with us.
I'm glad you came back home, Justin. Speaking of which, like when we hung out, it was before you went to Ireland. Like I think you actually told me that you were going to Ireland when we were hanging out here. So that's how far back this goes. Like you've kind of lived a whole other life and back again. And we're still kind of here. So yeah, very, very cool, man. Love this. And yeah, I do a whole bunch of podcasts all of a sudden. After the passing of my friend Bobby Pauls, I did a lot of reflection on what the heck was next, because a lot of what I do was kind of just tied to what Bobby was doing. We had grown so much together. I met you guys because of Bobby. I was reflecting on that earlier today, that he was the one who said, like, you should probably check out Nintendo Dads, and just, like a lot of that kind of stuff goes through my mind. So when he passed, it was a little up in the air of what the next step for me was going to be. And basically what we did was kind of what Bobby would have done as well, is kind of leave it up to the community to let us know what should be next. So we put up a couple Patreon goals and said, here's some ideas of stuff we want to do. And the community wrapped their arms around us, man, big time. And they pushed us through all of the stretch goals that I thought were going to take us maybe a couple of years to get through. We did it in 30 hours. Well, actually, I should say maybe like 3 or 4 hours. And all of a sudden, I went from doing We the Gamercast, which is my longest standing podcast where I have sweet hangs with strangers from the internet. It's a one-on-one chat. We just sometimes we just completely geek out about whatever games people like. I had an awesome conversation about Yokai Watch very recently and just kind of went all over the place. Retro Logic, Dan from Retro Logic is on an upcoming episode, and we just talk about his collection, which is awesome. And that show's been going on a long time. I feel like that's been kind of the core of me meeting a lot of you guys and members of the community, whether they have podcasts or not. It's kind of been amazing. The entire goal of that show is just to one day at the end of it, where I walk away from it, I would love to just look at a collection of cool conversations that I have with people, and I have that in so much more. That's where I'll get a little choked up of thinking about like how much more We the Gamercast has brought to my life than just the cool conversations, because it led me to meet people like, of course, like you guys, but Bobby Pauls was, I think, maybe my 5th guest or 4th guest. He was there. My 6th guest, I think, right after Bobby, was Brock McLaughlin, who is out of Toronto, and introduced me to the folks over at Xbox Canada. So that when I started the Xbox Drive, which is a podcast I record every week in my car and get McDonald's and do the whole thing over there, I actually have a laptop sitting next to me. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford. He's the man on the moose. We talk all about Xbox for about 50 minutes at a time. So you can squeeze it into your commute, because that's what I do. And Xbox changed my life too, man. Like I got to go to E3 in 2019 because of that. And thanks to our friendship, I got to check out the Nintendo booth over there. I will never forget that. And man, like I said, when we hit all of our goals, I thought I was only going to be doing We the Gamercast and the Nintendo Drive, but then we launched the Nintendo Drive as a new Nintendo podcast that, again, record in my car as I go along, and I record that with the wonderful Console Kato from youtube.com/Console Kato, who I feel like I snagged her, man. She is so awesome, and she's just completely blown up on YouTube with her wonderful Animal Crossing channel. So I feel very, very privileged to be podcasting with her over on that. And there's probably a bunch. Sweet Hangs is another show I do with Donnie Reese from PSVG, and there's just lots, man. I think probably the best way people can keep track of it all is over at twitter.com/Sean Capri, or my Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can get all the stuff in one simple feed. And there's a lot more perks for all the other tiers, patreon.com/Yumi Capri. We've got a wonderful community over in the Discord. I'm streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sean Capri, usually on Thursdays, but also Fridays and Saturday nights. And I'm kind of doing the whole thing.
We interrupted your schedule this week.
It's all good, because I realized I'm actually creating content every day of the week is where I'm at right now. I don't want to run through the entire schedule, but every single day I'm either podcasting or streaming or both. Sometimes I'm actually doing 2 podcasts in a day. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. I'm loving it. I love that I have a work, life, and family balance that lets me do this. And I love that I have people who tune in and listen and engage, because all of those things have to work. So it's kind of like a bunch of stars aligning that I've been able to podcast and people listen, and my wife lets it happen, and I find the time for it and all that kind of stuff. So very, very fortunate, dude.
Hey, when are we going to get the podcasting trading cards?
That's, man, what an idea. I feel like I'm gonna get myself in some hot water in this one, because it might be too big of an idea. But yeah, I was talking to Jason Lacey on a recent episode of Sweet Hangs about this notion that, there's so many of us, there's so many podcasts, there's so many, like, this community of indie podcasters. It's like, I often like to think that I keep up to date with what's going on in my friends' lives through podcasts. Like, none of us really have the time to hang out with everybody individually, but I tune into my friends' podcasts to just hear their voice and to hear them laugh and to have that hang, whether or not I'm actually there or not. So yeah, I kind of realized, like, it would be wonderful if we could commemorate this time. I talked about how we've all known each other for so many years now. And, in high school, you get a yearbook and you're able to kind of look back on that time with fond memories and all that stuff. It's this time capsule kind of thing. And so I was like, what if we did how do we immortalize this time? We obviously have all the audio and with you guys with the video as well. We'll be on YouTube forever, which is also which is a blessing over at youtube.com/Nintendo Guru, to have his stuff up there forever. But to have something that you can kind of thumb through later when you're an old man, or like dig out a box of cards or something is, maybe this is me getting a little bit old and kind of misty eyed, thinking about the good old days of podcasting, but I do believe we will think back on this time, the 2015 to 2021 and beyond. One day we will walk away from this, and I think it would be so wonderful to have something to remember all of this by, and all the people who were involved, the friendships that we made, the people we touched and we were touched by. Very, very special. So I get a little sentimental about that kind of thing. So I'd love to spearhead a little something to, for us all to have a piece of that.
Well, I will say this: whatever you need from the Nintendo dads, we will
about $2,500. $2,500. Yeah.
So do you want me just to PayPal that to you now?
Canadian is fine.
Cool.
No, I shouldn't say Canadian. I have been quoted in American dollars. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we might be able to support some of that.
As it turns out, it's a very costly endeavor to custom make trading
cards. Yeah.
So
just
it's an idea
hey?
at this point, but I'm like a dog with a bone when it comes to these types of things. Like I have 2 whiteboards on my walls, you guys. Like I am brainstorming this out. I'm figuring it out. There's a lot of things to consider with this, but
Tim's walls.
Tim's right, of course. Tim, I hope it's okay. I set up a couple of
some whiteboards.
Yes, perfect.
Gigantic holes in the wall that didn't really work out, so I glued them also.
Okay.
Yeah. I see some people in the commentary saying the podcast is getting deep. I think that sometimes happens when I think that can happen in a conversation, right? Sean and all of us have known each other for a long time and have gone through some stuff together, right? And so a lot of it still sits there, and I think it's having those genuine conversations and realness of, we can talk about video games and what crazy stuff's going to happen, but also, that sometimes life sucks, life hurts, life's hard, and there's parts of that we need to have conversations with, and the beautiful part I think about podcasting, and the beautiful part about a community is that this is a safe place with friends.
Big time.
And so you can have those conversations and you can feel uncomfortable and you can kind of have a moment. So that's also not to say we also can't talk about like weird Chinese, weird Japanese manga stuff followed by, look, it's Donkey Kong, right? So they're all the spectrum's all over.
Balls in your face.
Exactly. Right. And that's a great segue. It's a great segue. All right. Well, everyone check out Sean, check out the amazing work he does. Legitimately, ladies and gentlemen, hardest working individual in podcasting. And my hope for you, Sean, and I know that you have such a great life. I hope that someday, whatever you want for podcasting to be, your content creation, I hope that you find where that is for you, like as a full-time paid gig or whatever it can be for you, for whatever that looks like for you. Cause I'm just so awe-inspired by the work that you do.
Well, thank you. I really, really should say, and I should have said this to start. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't. There's no way that that's possible without Ryan Turford. Ryan Turford is an absolute godsend. He's so humble. He's wonderful. He's talented. Great host with me on the Xbox Drive, but he edits and publishes most of the stuff. So there's absolutely no chance in the world that I'm doing all of this without Ryan Turford. And I'm so lucky to have him in my life, man. He's awesome.
Where's he at? Is he
He's in Toronto. He's in Toronto. Yeah.
Feels like we need to take a road trip.
Now he just moved. He was in Toronto. That's where we met, but he just got a place out just a little bit outside London, Ontario.
I feel like we need to take a road trip, Sean Capri.
Dude, I'm telling you, like there's
come to the east side.
I am telling you, like there's the trading card set is the idea that's going around that's new, but something that has as this pandemic hopefully comes to an end, we got to center around something, a PAX of some sort or whatever. It's not optional. It is absolutely required.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, DadCon, all these kind of inventions. Canada Dads.
There's a lot of us here in Alberta, Justin. We could do like a tour of Alberta actually and get a pretty good thing going. But also, of course, everywhere else. And I should say, because we talk about PAX and everything, and that being the default maybe destination that we go to. Have you guys, like Tim and Jesse, do you have any idea how rich you would be in this country? You come in here with your big American dollars,
right?
Like you will be living like kings. This will be the most inexpensive trip you've ever had.
I will give Tim Hortons cards to everybody.
Everyone gets the Tim Hortons cards. I'm telling you guys, you'd be silly not to come up here. We got a couple of days left of summer here before it gets into winter, so you better hurry up. I think we're measuring it in hours at this point.
Yeah.
Well, if you're already 35 degrees, your summer is already up. It's time for winter.
Yeah, this is the peak.
Right.
This is the peak.
All right. Good stuff. Jesse, let's head over to our questions from our community. Do we have any bumpers for that?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Normally,
I appreciate.
well, we normally use.
You couldn't find a button.
No,
couldn't find a button for me.
We normally use Community Spotlight for this too.
Couldn't find a button to hit. Hey, Jesse.
Oh, London, Ontario is only 2.5 hours away from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
All right. Question comes from Jesus, and he asks, in all sincerity, I'm tired of the Switch tax on physical games. I do like digital, and a lot of my library is slowly becoming more digital, but I tend to get physical media as often as I can. I like to swim in my game cases. Leave me alone. But why is it that so many modern Switch games continue to get the increased price in the US? Am I imagining, and I imagine everywhere else? An example, Little Nightmare 2 is on sale right now. You want it on the PS4, Xbox One? That'll be $20. Oh, you want it on the Switch? The best I can do is $30, maybe $40 for a game. Overall, that is horrible. But comparing percentages, only one is at 50% discount and the other is at 25% discount. Why are they trying to ruin Nintendo? Gentlemen, what can be done about the Switch tax? Or is this something we're just going to have to live with? Even with a new Switch on the way, will my Switch Pro also have these taxes built in, higher prices for current games just because it's on the Switch? Thoughts?
Yeah. Deal with it. No.
I think some of that is the cost of manufacturing a cartridge is more than a Blu-ray. But I don't know how much more. I have not researched that. But we do know that a bigger game that needs a 32 gig cart versus a 16 gig cart costs more. And what there's like, you can probably count on one hand how many 32 gig games there are on cart.
Yeah. The other reality is with Switch and with Nintendo, they can charge it and people pay for it. That's also the simple other thing. Yeah. That's the Pavlov's dog, ring a bell and they'll salivate. How'd you like that?
I saw a bar graph of Switch owners versus PlayStation 5 owners versus Xbox Series owners. And, so ignoring Xbox One and PS4, and Switch is like 85% market share.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's probably more in Japan than those are just worldwide numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to continue. It's going to continue because we continue to pay for it, and even if we didn't pay for it, it would probably continue. So unfortunately, that is the reality of it. Sometimes it is as simple as if you can find the game somewhere else cheaper and you have the ability in console, sure, look it. Why not? Right. Next question comes from Brandon. Sonic has been able to succeed in the 3D game space. What would you do to make Sonic a good 3D game?
Did you say? Did Brandon say?
Never. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Okay. I was going to say, though, we can't just assume that he has been successful.
So what would I do to make it a good... So what I would probably do is I would... So first I start with the character model, and I would probably stop it from being a hedgehog. Yeah. I'm envisioning this Italian plumber, maybe some changes there.
I was thinking about adding 500 multicolored bananas.
Yeah, there you go. Sean, can we make Sonic good? Can we make Sonic great again?
One of the things I was saying on the Xbox Drive is this is not no, probably not. And I am on the side of I don't think that Sonic has ever really been good or great, but I am on the side that actually 3D is better. I think 3D Sonic is better than 2D Sonic. That's where I'll lie on that one. I want Sonic in 3D to be free flowing, but it's always in 2D or 3D. It always seems stiff. I want it to be a little bit easier to play and just kind of wander and free flow and discover. But it's always like lock onto this and then press the button and then you'll actually go in. Like it's too, I don't know, disjointed is maybe a word that I would use. So it needs a bit of a revamp from that front of what they are even trying to do.
The problem with the character whose basis is speed is you can only show so much speed on a screen at once without it just being a straight line run fast. When you get to the part where any exploration or branching paths, you slow down and you're defeating the point of the character.
But then you start to think about like racing games, and to bring in a game Tim mentioned a little bit earlier, like Forza Horizon is a game that is just a racing game, but it is kind of open. It's really an open world game. And there's so many different things that you can do in that where the events that you participate in Forza Horizon are interesting on their own. There could be something like that with Sonic. And also the setting has to be something that's really interesting as well. And I, at least for me, who doesn't have any nostalgia whatsoever for Sonic, it's got to be more than like, ooh, the Green Hill song, that's cool. Like, it's got to have something else that I enjoyed, like wandering the space that I'm in 3D Sonic. It's got to be more than flashy lights or things like that, or you get points and you get your rings. It's got to be something a little bit more compelling. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's my quick thoughts on what can make Sonic a little better. But really, let's face it, there's no saving Sonic. It's
no. I'm getting we're getting called out in here for you guys Mecha Dragon said dads, just cowards. Harsh Mecha Dragon, harsh.
I did the Colors game when they showed it. It looked promising.
I will say, looks good.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually is good. And I think that when you have, I forget his name, but the person who helped them do the 2D Sonic that did really well, was it
Chris
Sonic?
guy?
What's that?
Chris or Chad or something. Hemingway.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Sure.
I don't know. Sonic.
No, but that what was it? Sonic
Mania.
Mania, yeah, and that got really well received. If you got fans who really love it and can do that same type of thing and bring you what you want.
Christian Whitehead. That was close.
So close.
Oh,
so
okay.
close.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Christian Whitehead would be able to help with that same type of thing or not, but if you can find that same type of level of fandom to work with the Sonic team to make it better,
Yeah.
I think it will work. But I'm looking forward to see what they do with colors and that whatever that Sonic Zap is gonna be.
Yeah, I never played. I didn't like when I saw the reveal that's what they were coming out with a game called Sonic Colors. I'm like, oh, cool, new Sonic game. I didn't know that it was on the Wii. I didn't know that this was something that was available before. I had no idea. Just so it shows how much attention I'm paying to Sonic. So
hilarious. All right, folks, those are our questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a show. That is a show.
Before we close out,
not done. Okay.
So we talked about that opening music and I'm
right, yeah, the teasing me, yeah, okay, yeah,
yeah, and I'm going to use it again at the end. So, but going back to World's End Club, an ongoing theme. That's basically the theme of the game, and as part of the story is the kids will sing the song, and and it has meaning to them, and they go back to it multiple times throughout the game. So it's just really, I find it really catchy. I like it. And especially later on, they'll use that as background music, like remixed versions of the song without the lyrics and I really like it. And I got to the point where I started getting chills whenever they started playing it again. So I like the song. That's why I wanted to put it up as music this week.
Hopefully we won't get copyright on it.
Yeah, hoping indeed. Well, folks, we're going to enter the show. First and foremost, Sean Capri, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, head over to at Sean Capri on Twitter, and you can find all of his links to all of his stuff. Like, subscribe, listen to him, and just give him some love because it is awesome, awesome stuff. And Sean, we've alluded to it several times. I'm going to be on the Nintendo Drive tomorrow. We're recording about some E3 stuff as well. So happy to continue talking about more and more Nintendo with you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge thank you to our Patreon producers, Chris Mears, David Ernsberg, Antonio Contrario, Christopher Warner, and Solo Something. Thank you so much for being our Patreon producers. You guys, we greatly, greatly appreciate it, as we do appreciate the other 115 people who support us over on Patreon as well. Thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're here, thank you so much for being in Twitch and YouTube. By the way, click subscribe. You should check those out. We have got a ton of content. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, our Road to E3 episodes have continued this entire week. We had the Gaming Dad on this week. We had Jeff Grubb on this week. We have got more of our favorite friends, guests, and industry insiders coming up on our YouTube channel. Seriously, go click the like, subscribe. These are less than 5-minute episodes where they provide you their Nintendo predictions.
Yeah, Doug Bowser coming, right?
Doug Bowser's coming. Wink, wink. So you should definitely subscribe. There's all kinds of that stuff. So make sure you're going over there. And of course, Twitch, if you're in Twitch, thank you for your subs as well. And we greatly, greatly appreciate that. If you're looking for all the latest information on Nintendo Dads, over at nintendodads.org. What's the latest YouTube videos, tweets, podcasts, Patreon page, and everything. And also access to our Nintendo Dads merch shop. You can find us on most podcast captures, such as Castbox, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. If you want to send us an email, go to nintendodads@gmail.com or call us at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix, which is some of the music that you're hearing, and also whatever it is that Jesse's playing as well. Big thank you to them. We greatly appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this. We have a ton of content. E3 is around the corner. We have so much content coming out. We're going to be streaming. We also have Dad Fest coming up, where we're collaborating with the Mega Dads and Nintendo Dads. We have got a plethora of content coming out on YouTube, Twitch, podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, be here, because you are not going to want to miss all this great, great stuff. For myself, for Jesse, for Tim, and for Sean, and for Marty, be good, take care of each other, tell someone you love them. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But no matter how far we roam, our bond is unbreakable. Our goal is distant, our hearts will know, but our friends are there to keep us strong. There's a rainbow up, up, up above. Now it's time to carry on. We fight and argue, that's how it goes. Only true friends can show us the light. All together we turn and face our foes. Go, go, go getters, we never lose our fight. Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Maple syrup mooses.